Whoa, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another exciting episode of Vash Sky ParkCast. Whoa! There is a lot of stuff going on right now, and that's why we're a little bit out of sorts, because we have to collect all of this information actually breaking from every point of the internet, both in entertainment and in theme parks. And trust me, folks, we're going to cover some entertainment stuff today, but I can guarantee you that it's going to probably affect the theme parks that we all love. Woo, man, it is a lot of stuff going on, so we got to get right into it because we have an amazing guest on with us today. It is the one, the only, Orange Grove 55 from that amazing channel of his namesake. Hello there, sir. How are you doing today? What is going on? Oh, you are muted, good sir.
Hold on one second. There we go. No, Vash, I appreciate you, brother. No, I'm doing fantastic. We have so much going on right now between the Dana Walden stuff, between Villains Land from that rap story. Yeah, we'll get into all that. It's crazy. Kenny said he's glad that you started your own channel. He liked you on OG55. Hey, Kenny, you're getting a twofer. You're getting OG and Vash today. So
that's right. That's right. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, those were the days, weren't they, OG? It's very interesting because there's been some stuff that we've talked about that we talked about over there on OG55 years ago that are now coming back over into fruition. It's really, really interesting to have it all kind of come full circle the way it has. But we got to get right into some breaking news right here. We also have MJ in the back producing for us. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that, MJ. Highlighting all those amazing commenters in the chat right now. Thank you so much for that. And we've got train has rolled into the station, as you have heard. Which, by the way, Villain's Lane, gonna have a train station, it looks like. That's very interesting, very apropos. We got Clifflix in the house, support us Magnus. We got Dan's Life of the Kingdom. We have Irate Specialist, awesome stuff right there. We have Tom F, who is also in there, modding for us. Thank you so much with that amazing shield that he has. Kit Kat, MagicalyMJ, Eric Stratton. We got all kinds of people. And Juliet, thank you so much for joining us and keeping that chat nice and clean. Which, by the way, we had to talk about a little bit of YouTube problems before. YouTube's having an issue in which they're not presenting all comments. That happened actually. Our chats, I should say. That happened actually in yesterday's show right there. So we're not censoring anybody. We're just trying to make you aware that YouTube is having some back-end struggles that affected Valiant Renegade, who is also live streaming right now, and a couple of other of our friends in this space. So that's what's going on, just to keep you all aware. Let's go ahead and get right into it. If I have my links available right now, I believe I do, but I'm not sharing my screen. Give me a second. There was a lot of stuff going on for sure. Okay, here we go. The big news of the day just broke like hours ago. Breaking: Netflix concedes Warner Brothers battle as Paramount bid emerges as the front runner. This by Marvin Montanaro, February 26, 2026. In a dramatic shift in a high-stakes Paramount Warner Brothers takeover fight, Netflix has officially walked away from the bidding war, clearing a major path for David Ellison's Skydance-backed offer. The streaming giant confirmed Thursday that it will not raise its bid, signaling that the escalation price tag being the main driver, driven by Paramount's improved proposal, and has pushed the deal beyond what Netflix considers financially prudent. That's indeed what happened there. So it was actually a few days ago that Warner Brothers was made aware of this bid by Paramount. And it looked pretty good. I mean, it pushed it beyond the $30 threshold per share that we had heard was the ceiling, OG. And that was a big thing. It also has revised kind of M&A clauses in it. It has a whole bunch of stuff. We'll get into the particulars in just a moment right here, but I kind of want to lay out the history for you. I'm going to go ahead and bring it on over to you. You can see right here, even 2 days ago, Warner Brothers was signaling, hey, this offer is probably going to be a superior proposal, as they put it. And then 2 days later, obviously, they come out with the big news that they have accepted that proposal as a superior proposal. And then, they gave Netflix 4 days to respond with their own. Not so much right here. Netflix declines to raise the offer for Warner Brothers. I think that all cash bid by the Ellisons, I think, was the big sticking point right there. Not only are they getting a higher payout, right, $31, which puts it, I believe, at about $108 or $111 billion. That's the enterprise value for the entire package right there at that $31 price point, but it's all cash. And Netflix would have to go deep into debt in order to take that on. So when the last couple of days, when Warner's was signaling that, hey, this could be the superior offer, Netflix's stock actually jumped from that. Yeah. Now, why? Why would they do that? Because they're not going to be taking on that debt load. They don't want to, potential investors don't want them to return to that kind of COVID mindset where they're taking on a whole bunch of debt and not necessarily getting anything back in return. They also don't want to have Netflix change their business model because obviously this is going to impact theatrical in a big, big way. OG, from your perspective, going over that very, very quickly, what is your initial take on this story?
Okay, so this is my initial take on this whole thing. I've actually been saying this for a little while now, but my biggest concern, we have two studios here. We got Warner Brothers, we got Paramount, right? And they essentially do the same thing. They are both Hollywood studios that essentially perform the same kind of job. My issue with this merger or buyout is there's a lot of redundancy there, right? Because they are from the same business model, right? Netflix is Hollywood, but it is sort of Hollywood adjacent. It's not necessarily in the same exact business, right? So I think if Netflix were to acquire Warner Brothers, I think we would see less layoffs. Number one, I think this deal, you're going to see way more layoffs. I mean, no matter what. I mean, that's a given, right? I also feel though that Netflix has been a cultural driver. Honestly, Netflix has defined a whole generation. K-pop Demon Hunters, Stranger Things. We have so many major things that have just moved the needle with Netflix. I love Warner Brothers. I've always been in love with their animation studio as a kid with Animaniacs and Tiny Toons. I've been really disappointed the last 20 some odd years that they really can't land a good owner. Back when American Online bought them and they did a terrible job at AT&T, right?
It's no good.
It's been a mess for like almost 30 years, right? So I was hoping, okay, maybe Netflix can get these characters back into the cultural kind of machine, So I was rooting for Netflix. A lot of people were concerned, and I understand they were concerned that, okay, well, Netflix streaming company, what does that mean for theatrical? Netflix has stated, and again, it's talk, so you just don't know, but Netflix has stated like, hey, we're going to honor the theatrical, we might play around with the windows, this, that, and the other. My issue is that when you have Paramount buying Warner Brothers, I feel like theatrical is kind of dying anyway. So we're still going to have the death of theatrical, so to speak, anyway. But now we're just going to have more layoffs on top of that. And you're going to have a studio Paramount that isn't quite as proven. The Ellisons are kind of new to this. We don't really know how they're going to run this thing, how successful they're going to be. They might hit a home run, they might not. But Netflix, we do know that they know how to hit home runs. So for me, I was rooting for Netflix, to be honest with you. Now, look, I love this studio. I love Warner Brothers. I hope I am rooting for this. I hope this deal works out where they can do it, man, because Warner Brothers has a lot of great properties. I'm just nervous, man. And honestly, the Paramount, what would you call it? The money side of the Paramount isn't looking super hot. So there is a concern there with that as well. So that's kind of where I stand with it. I was kind of a little bit more going for that Netflix deal. I do think Netflix is a little bit more of an innovative company where they will be able to kind of evolve and grow going forward. Paramount, I'm not seeing that yet. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, I will be happy to say I was wrong on this, but I am a little nervous with the Paramount deal for a number of reasons. But what say you, Vash? What do you think, brother?
Man, look, let me just be clear. I'm not excited or thrilled about this corporate consolidation happening at this level, regardless of who actually comes out the winning bid here. I wasn't too thrilled with Netflix nor Paramount, and also Comcast. Now, Comcast, obviously, there's potential upside there, at least for the theme park space. But just business as a whole right here, I would like there to be a little bit more competition in this industry. I thought Warner Brothers was actually carving out a nice space at theatrical with its box office in the year 2025. I mean, they were the number one at the box office up until Zootopia 2 actually came out from Disney, and they were able to take that crown. But Warner Brothers having a nice slate of films of different proportions, right? Sometimes you get tentpoles, and sometimes you get some smaller fare. So them being acquired by Netflix, look, I am partial to the theatrical product, and so I wasn't quite thrilled with Netflix getting this either, right? It's like, oh boy, I mean, if Netflix gets that, what is going to happen to theatrical? Now, some people might say, hey, it's on the way out no matter what. There's nothing really more you can do. At least within the hands of Paramount, it looks like Paramount is dedicated to preserving that theatrical model. Now, I do agree with you, OG. I think you were saying before, it's like Paramount's like attempting to put out like 40 theatrical productions a year or whatever. That's a little much. We'll have to see how that ebbs and flows, especially now that the deal might be concluded right here. And that's the thing. Executives like to say all kinds of things before these deals actually get done, but once that ink is dried, they're able to do effectively whatever they want. Now, here's the other thing, too, on this whole thing. Honestly, I didn't even know if the deal was viable from a regulatory standpoint because the administration was saying very clearly they prefer one over the other for a variety of reasons, which I don't want to get into the weeds too much on this show, but I just will say that there's some associations going on right there, and maybe it played into the Ellisons' favor in this particular deal. That's the allegation anyway. We'll see what actually happens when this actually goes up for regulatory approval and what they might have to divest themselves of to get that deal approved. We saw that with Disney. Actually, they had to get rid of Fox's, I believe, sports assets and so forth because ESPN was already doing the whole thing, and we all know how that actually went. I want to go ahead and get into the deal structure and what this, what actually won the bid for Paramount this time. So I guess Netflix's proposal was $83 billion in total, and that was for partial assets of Warner Brothers. Now, Ellison was like, hey, we want the whole package. We want linear, and we want the more entertainment-driven side of the business right there when it comes to theatrical movie making, studios, all of that. And so they put up, like I said, $108 to $111 billion all cash for 100% of the company. That is a massive price tag right there. And for Netflix, essentially, trying to enter the race right here and not actually coming out the victor, they'll be paid out, I believe, $2.8 billion in a termination fee by Paramount to Netflix for playing the game right there. So that's the consultation prize for them. I don't know if it was necessarily worth the stock hit that they have taken since December, but, there you go. That's your little gold trophy there that everybody gets. I said M&A before. M&E, this kind of material adverse effect. This is kind of interesting. So, to keep Paramount from pulling out of the deal based on what happens in linear, there's an exclusive carve out in this new deal. It says, no, you can't leave. Whatever linear does, you're stuck with this deal, which I thought was very, very interesting. A lot of people kind of saying, hey, what does CNN look like under Paramount? It's going to be a really interesting thing. But we'll see how that goes.
That's gonna be wild. That's gonna be really wild.
that's gonna stir up some controversy, as we've seen from the CBS space and so forth. Well, I'm sure WW Pro and Valiant Renegade and other contemporaries in our space will be keeping a closer watch on that. That is for sure. But when it comes to the theme park aspect, this is where it gets very interesting, because we had heard, OG, that something had happened with Six Flags to suggest that they were maybe losing out on the rights for the DC brand when it came to the Warner Brothers and Six Flags association, right? And I think that stems from the time when all of these companies were practically the same. They spun off. Now Cedar Fair, owns, I think it merged with Six Flags, right? But practically, Cedar Fair leadership took over, and they're looking at it and going, wow. As I think Jonas J. Campbell pointed out today, actually, they were saying that this is an albatross around our neck, so we have to really reformulate in order to make this all financially viable for the future, right? It looks like Universal might be getting the DC characters in a deal between Warner Brothers and Universal before this actually ran through. And there's already an association, OG, with Paramount assets and Universal as it currently exists with, like, Transformers, for example, right?
Yes.
Could we potentially see more deals like that being done into the future? Could we see this kind of leveraging of these brands and assets that Universal can really step it up into overdrive now with this deal concluded? What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Vash. No, I hope so. I really, really hope so. I hope they can really, because like you said, Comcast already has a working relationship with Paramount. We see in the Universal Kid Park in Frisco, Texas, what is it, like SpongeBob is represented in there, right? Like you mentioned, we got Transformers over in both parks in Orlando and in California. I would love if Paramount sat down with Comcast and said, hey, let's work this out. Six Flags, it's kind of circling the drain a little bit right now. They're not doing super hot. So, it would be cool to see Comcast Universal grab those DC rights. I've said it for a long time. I would love to see a fully realized Gotham City in a Universal park. How awesome would that be? I'm talking like Wizarding World level quality, where you can walk through Gotham City, you got the Batmobile. That would be sick, So if they can work something out, look, we got new ownership now. It's possible. So sure. I really, really hope that is the case. I really, really do. So we'll see, and that was one of the reasons why I was like, I was like low key. I was like, I really kind of hope Universal gets you Warner Brothers, because I think Universal would have a field day with this library. But Ooh. Consolidation prize, if they can work it out with Paramount and get some of these licensing deals out, that's cool. That'd be great.
That would be cool. I'm hopeful that negotiations with Paramount and with Comcast to get some of those amazing assets and IP into the Universal Parks is fruitful. I hope that relationship continues right there. We saw that, man, I heard this from Wizard, which, by the way, stick around to the end of the show, folks, because Theme Park Wizard will be joining us with some exclusive news and coverage from his perspective on all of our stories and more, including like Villain's Land, for example, and of course that amazing Variety article featuring Josh Timmerman and Dana Walden coming up next. I most can assure you that. But I remember hearing from him that I guess they were going to bring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into Universal for FanFest. And I guess it was going to be a really big effort. They were going to do appearances by the Turtles as powered by Jim Henson, like the first film, for example. And awesome stuff. Everybody was really excited. And then apparently Paramount pulled out, believing that Universal didn't quite understand the brand or maybe the vision that they had for that IP, which was really sad. Hopefully, though, like you said, those relationships can be a little bit more fruitful, because I agree with you. I mean, bringing like a Gotham City to life in a Universal Park, it's a dream come true. And we did see concepts of kind of a DC comic book hero land before Marvel was chosen for Islands of Adventure. There's some concept artwork floating out there and some great people on YouTube who have covered that in the past. So hopefully we can get some stuff in the modern era. It looks like we are, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on what happens here with Paramount officially acquiring Warner Brothers right here. Looks like Netflix is dropping out, and that's going to be all she wrote. Very interesting stuff.
Well, what is interesting too, like, I heard the Ninja Turtle rumor as well about how they wanted that for FanFest, and I was disappointed because I think Ninja Turtles would actually be a perfect franchise for that event. You know, I mean, that would have been incredible, absolutely incredible. So I think that would have been really cool. But hopefully Universal and Paramount Warner now can go ahead and try to work these deals out, because honestly, Universal has done a really good job. Universal under Comcast has done a really good job at sort of, I don't even know what the word would be, sort of taking on these licensing deals, whether it be Harry Potter or, Nintendo or what have you, and really fostering those brands in a quality way, right? I mean, some would even argue, like, I think Universal even probably takes more care of the licensed properties than they do their own properties. I mean, compare Villain Con to something like, Wizarding World or something crazy. Like they do take it very seriously. And I would love to see Universal take on, some of these Warner Brothers properties, man. And that's the thing, like, Warner Brothers has such an amazing roster. I mean, between all these, Looney Tunes and honestly, even Hanna-Barbera, people don't realize Hanna-Barbera is also now under Paramount, right? That was Warner Brothers. All the Scooby-Doo and the Cartoon Network stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a wealth of IP, and I would love to see Universal have a little bit of ability to sort of tap into that, because I think that there would be a lot there. Universal's a smart company. I think they can handle it well. I hope Paramount. Right. I know they had their concerns about the Ninja Turtles. Ellison's, I think it'll be okay. I think Comcast knows what they're doing. Come on, let's get this ball rolling here.
Oh man. Oh, it's fascinating, OG. I was recently reminded of how many IPs, franchises, and so forth are within, Warner Brothers' gates there at the studio lot. It is incredible, just the amount of history, the amount of franchises that they have really access to. I mean, it's just like, it's one of the most prolific libraries that you can possibly ever acquire. I can definitely see why Netflix and Paramount really fought it out the way they did. There's no question about that. I went to the studio kind of tour building that they have over there. It's great. It's fantastic. A lot of Wizarding World merch, which was kind of fun. Didn't even know a lot of that stuff existed right there. And I'm very excited to actually take a tour myself for the first time. That'll be pretty cool. But it is incredible, the wealth of just riches that have now been inherited by Paramount. Which I guess, as Mark ZN70K in the chat right there says, Paramount's well over 100 years old. Also, too, Warner Brothers, well over 100 years old as well. Yeah. So big stuff. There's no question about that. And we'll be keeping a watchful eye on all things Warner Brothers IP as it relates to the theme park space, because I don't know, Six Flags not doing so hot.
No, you're right. No, you're right. They are not. And here's the thing too, Vash, is like, you and I growing up as kids, I mean, it was like coming home from school, at 3:00, 3:30, it was Disney and Warner Brothers. I mean, you either watched the Disney afternoon or you watched, Animaniacs or Tiny Toons, right? Like Warner Brothers, younger people don't really realize how massive the WB IP was back then in the 90s. I mean, they were rivals. I mean, Disney and Warner were like toe to toe, and I would love to see Warner Brothers get back into that golden era of like just making great content. I mean, they had Steven Spielberg, dude, producing doing the Tiny Toon show. And I mean, it was amazing content. I want to see them go back to that. So let's see.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I man, if they can recapture that magic, right? Because I agree with you. When growing up as a kid, especially for that brief time we had cable, Cartoon Network was definitely a regular play, and Animaniacs and all that. Love all that. That's great. It's fantastic. And hey, maybe Paramount, Skydance, maybe John Lasseter, right? John Lasseter, the head of Skydance right now. Maybe he could take leadership and control of some of those Warner Brothers characters in the animation space. That would be kind of cool. Very interesting. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens with all of this. But I will leave it up to my contemporaries to cover those stories. For theme parks, though, if anything breaks, trust me, here on Vash Sky ParkCast, you will be informed about it. All right, we got to switch on topics over because, our friend OG has a hard out right here. I want to make sure we maximize his time for our panelists and for this show right here. We got to get into this, OG.
Oh, bro.
I didn't even have this on the roster before I set up this live stream, and I'm like, that's the topic for tonight. We got to talk about Villains Land. Villains Land is back in the news, folks, and back in a big, big way. According to the rep, Drew Taylor over there, it looks like this big, new, bold reimagining that we heard rumors about. Not only is it happening, but now we got details on what's happening. Woo! And boy, are they bold. I don't know if they're big, but they're bold choices, folks, that are being made according to Drew Taylor. Here we go. WDW Magic Disney's Villains Land creative direction shifts to family-friendly approach, says the Wrap. This 10 hours ago in Villains Land, okay? And do we have I guess just staff, all right? February 26, 2026. The Wrap's Drew Taylor published a detailed report today offering new insight into the creative direction of Villains Land at Magic Kingdom, following early reports that the project's original plans had been scrapped. Again, we covered this yesterday, actually, about, hey, is this true? Have plans been scrapped? Because according to the original Len Testa origination of that rumor, right, that happened in December. Now, if you talk to Tom Corliss or even WW Pro, Jonas, they're saying, yeah, that happened just way before. It didn't happen anywhere in current day. And one of the things that I have said before also, too, the way you know that this is kind of real and true is that the plans have been submitted to SwiftMud, or the South Florida Water Management Agency, and SIFTOD, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District. Both of them have now gotten plans, and we see on there what we're pretty much going to get, at least from a substantial kind of, footprint, right, for some of these attraction buildings and so forth, show buildings, right? We kind of have seen what we're going to get. Now, if these plans have changed, I'm guessing these filings will have to be amended. But let's go ahead and take Drew Taylor at his word. Let's see if we can suss out or get a reaction from all of this stuff. And we have somebody joining us for just in time for the story. It is the one, the only, the amazing Theme Park Wizard joining us for this amazing Villains Land segment. Wizard, we're just about to get into it. You couldn't have timed yourself better. Before I go ahead and hand it over to you, Wizard, let's go ahead and get into it because I have to be able to throw it to you guys. I got to know your responses to this. Okay. According to Taylor's article, he's suggesting that Imagineers were notified before the new year that previously laid plans were being scrapped, with the project now being reimagined to focus on bolder, bigger ideas. Okay. Disney has not yet released any information on the Villains Land project since its initial announcement in D23, August 2024, and has not confirmed any of the details mentioned in Taylor's report. According to Taylor's sources, the creative benchmark for Villains Land has shifted significantly. The original reference point was Dark Universe, the Universal Monsters themed area at Universal's Epic Universe. The new target is now Isla Burke, How to Train Your Dragon Land, also at Epic Universe. This is very interesting because I was on the stream with Pro, with Jonas, when this was originally announced back in 2024. And they were saying, oh, they're just trying to capitalize on, Darkmoor at Epic Universe. And it looks like that's a legit thing, according to Drew Taylor anyway. Let's go on. Burke won the 2026 award for Outstanding Achievement in Theme Park Land category. Taylor reports that Burke is, quote, not only more expansive with several rides, fun food options, an immersive stage show, and tons of exclusive merchandise, but it is also crucially brighter and more family-friendly. The shift in creative direction appears tied to business strategy. Taylor notes that Comcast reported in an earnings call early this month that Epic Universe is driving higher per capita spending, with guests extending their vacations to visit the new park. Disney wants Villains Land to achieve the same effect. I believe Drew Taylor actually said 5 or 7 days, based solely maybe on Villains Land alone. Guys, we'll get into the details of what all this means and what might be featured here, according to Drew Taylor's article. But initial reactions, take it away.
Okay, Vash, real quick. Wow, this is crazy, right? Okay, so this was my biggest fear about this land going into a castle park. I've been saying it for a really long time. Disney is going to water this land down because it's going into Magic Kingdom. And now, look, on paper, a Villains Land in a castle park makes all the sense in the world. The problem is Disney doesn't have the guts, in my opinion, to do what they got to do to make this land work. Josh Giamaro had that interview with ABC, said, hey, I'm a risk taker. Where's the risks? You're building an Ursula spinner. You're watering this land down to make it more kid-friendly. This is not risk-taking, Josh. I'm sorry. It is not risk-taking. The Darkmoor thing, you can do creepy, you can do scary, and still be appropriate for families. We see it all the time. Number one, since when did the Walt Disney Company shy away from dark and scary? Walt Disney shot Baby's mom in front of all those kids in that theater in the 1940s and had no problem with it. Michael Eisner, The Lion King. I mean, that was a dark moment in that movie, man. I mean, it's hard to watch it as an adult. He did that. He did that. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, dark moment. Chernabog, Fantasia, dark. Disney is not new to having dark moments. I don't know what this is where they feel like they need to water this land down to make it like digestible for families. This is not the move. I'm sorry. It just isn't. I'm very, very disappointed. And then we hear this thing about, oh yeah, we want to go bigger and bolder. So we're going to build an Ursula Spinny. Is that the bigger and bolder that we were? I mean, come on. This is like, I was literally on my channel making jokes about how they would do that like months ago. I like as a joke. And they literally are doing this. Like that's.
Oh, gee. Last week I was saying Ursula Spinner as the joke. Everybody laughed. It was funny, right? I mean, we have made these jokes the same way. And I remember, OG, you saying this to me back when it was, remember, before the official announcement in 2024, we got the, what if segment, right? As part of the 2022 D23 Expo. And that's when they were saying, hey, we might be thinking of Villains Land right here. And you said before, hey, look, if they go dark and creepy, if they go like a twisted Fantasyland almost, it's going to be a banger. It's going to be a hit. Now, not so much Wizard. I know you have a lot of thoughts right there. Go ahead, sir. Sorry about that.
Wizard. Well, this is crazy. I mean, look at it. I mean, so you have 3 attractions, right? As I said to both of you before, I was like, man, if this is the plush up big and bold version, I'm so curious what version 1 was all about, you know? Like,
that's a good point. Now, describe Wizard, what those attractions are, because we haven't gone into that just yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the 3 attractions they posed in the article were, to be fair, I actually heard this exact statement separately, and Len Testa just said this exact statement about the coaster being kind of toned down a little bit and things like that, and more focused on the e-tickets. So it seems about right. But you have this roller coaster looks in this concept art looks like it was kind of intense, maybe include a loop or two, or at least be intense like a main attraction. And now it got toned down to Slinky Dog Dash style, and that's a cool coaster. And I would have been totally okay with it, even that. But the unfortunate part is the theme. It's the Emperor's New Groove. Now, see, as OG said, that's a comedy. You know, this is a villain's land, and you have all these villains right here. All these villains, and as I told Vash earlier on the phone, is like you can't waste the space. You can't you can't you have 3 rides, you have 3 IPs to choose from. You can't just waste one of them on something like the Emperor's New Groove, and they're certainly not going to do Dr. Felicia coaster, but I'd love that, but come on. Emperor's New Groove, too comedic there. Then you have the Maleficent boat ride, which is pretty awesome too.
That's cool.
But I still think, again, that should have been like a Monsters Unchained style, not because of the ride system, but a boat ride, fantastic. But how about put all the villains in there? That's your big main one. It should be all the villains, instead of just one, I think, personally, because it's supposed to be only doing 3 rides. So this is your chance to really stick them all in there with a whole bunch of animatronics and stuff like that. And then the Ursula Spinner ride is a rehashed concept from Paradise Pier. Welcome, California Adventure. Your ideas never die. So
bigger and bolder.
That's here.
Bigger and bolder, bro. We're gonna borrow ideas from a decade ago, right?
We're gonna borrow an Ursula idea from California Adventure. Why not do the rumored Ariel's Undersea Adventure dark ride that was supposed to come to California Adventure with a big Ursula animatronic, right? And then the boat was supposed to start as a boat, but then get suspended in a really cool concept. And you still can put Ursula. Ursula deserves more than a spinner, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's just kind of weird. It seems to me it's all kind of watered down. It just doesn't seem big and bold. As I told Vash earlier, if you look at the ride systems here, you have the spinner, which is like Dumbo and many others around the world, right? You have a roller coaster, which doesn't seem as ambitious as before. And I believe Len Testa specifically said that's because an outdoor coaster, well, as you see it with the Epic Universe, closes in inclement weather, so they can't sell lightning lanes, so they decided to tone it down a little bit, whatever.
Correct.
Then you have the Shanghai boat system, which clearly seems like a 2-for-1 deal because they have Avatar is going to be that, and then this is going to be that. So let's buy 2 get 1 free situation going over here. There, it just what happened to the main e-ticket should be some creative new ride system. Remember Avengers Campus way back when was supposed to have this cool ride system, that instead of we're getting Infinity Defense, which is like Transformers, but before that it was supposed to be super cool. What happened to the days when Disney patented new ride systems and it was like never before seen? I think that's really should be what in Villains Land is, but it just seems like a whole bunch of used ride systems and bigger and bolder, but is it? Who knows?
Well, no. Well, Wizard, you're right. And I'm glad you brought up Avengers Campus, right? Because I'm noticing a pattern here with Josh Tomorrow. He got on that D23 stage 2 years ago. And he said, we're getting the e-ticket, Avengers e-ticket, right? We're starting on that. And we're throwing in the Kuka Arm ride. Everyone was shocked because the Kuka Arm thing came out of nowhere, right? Right? So it was like this move where it was like, hey, we're not just doing 1, we're doing 2, right? Now we're seeing, hey, we're not just doing 2 rides, we're getting a 3rd ride. There's this trend now, I feel, under Josh D'Amaro where he likes to kind of throw in a cheap thing to boost that ride count to make these areas look more impressive than maybe they really are. I don't like that. I'd rather have, honestly, 1 ride, you put all your love and money into that thing and make it the best thing you ever did. I don't want the Kuka Arm thing on a budget where it looks cheap and thrown in there, obviously. I don't want the Ursula thing, a borrowed concept from decades ago. I'd rather you save your Ursula money and put that into the boat ride. Make the land better. And I feel like he's throwing in these cheap additions to sort of make it seem like, hey, we got 3 rides. I don't need 3 rides. I just want good rides, And here's the other thing too, Wizard, you're right. Emperor's New Groove is a comedy. Disney has literally the most legendary villains roster on the planet, and that's the IP you choose to go in this line. You have, next to Darth Vader. Darth Vader is the baddie of all baddies, right? Outside of Darth Vader, Disney Animation has the most cinematic, legendary villains of all time, and this is what you pick. I'm sorry, it's disappointing. It is, and it's not a rumor. People keep saying, "Oh, these are rumors." This is from the Wrap. It's a Hollywood trade.
Now, and I will say the Wrap was the first one to say, hey, Muppets might be in jeopardy here with this new Monsters, Inc. expansion that Disney's Hollywood Studios is going to get. Remember, at the time that was announced, we didn't know that Muppets was going to be affected by that at all. It was only until Drew Taylor's excellent reporting on this specific story that we first started to hear the inclination that, maybe that might be in jeopardy, and of course it was. Now, OG, just to push back a little bit. Well, maybe to steelman your point, actually. Do you think the response to the push, I should say, to have more attractions in these lands might stem from the reaction to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? 14 acres, only 2 rides. Do you think that's where it's coming from, or do you think there's other motivations here?
That's a fair point. That's a very, very fair point. I think, though, if you're going to do that, if you're going to push for more attractions in these lands, I do believe you still have to have the quality there. And Ursula Spinner, Kuka Arm, which it seems like a recycled thing. Obviously, the Kuka Arm thing, I think, came from the original Avengers e-ticket concept with the Quinjet that breaks off and all that stuff. So they clearly had some extra stuff kind of out there that they can utilize. I just feel like he's sort of cobbling stuff together to bolster the ride count. Now, I'm not against more rides in these lands, but I still think that the Disney difference and the quality still have to be there, though. I don't want to just have a ride for the sake of a ride. That's my biggest issue. If you want to have 3 rides in this land, that's awesome, but all 3 rides need to be Disney quality, not a spinner ride that they've had. Disney's been doing spinner rides since the 1950s.
Yeah,
and this is bigger and bolder, right? I thought,
Well, I think this is going to have 4 spinners, no, 5 spinners in Magic Kingdom alone. 2 Dumbos, 1 Astro, and now and Aladdin's, and now this. I mean, look, Wizard, we talk about it all the time, and OG's making the point right here. Attraction quality counts, not just attraction count, right? If you look at Disneyland, those are really high quality attractions, and you have a high attraction count, at least in my opinion, at least as I see it. While Disney World suffering from the opposite equation, is this an expansion of that? What's your thoughts, please?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, so answer even your previous question, maybe it could be the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge problem, but I think the main problem with that one was just the lack of entertainment. I think people would be totally fine with the 2 rides there if they just had more entertainment and things to do. I mean, I know I certainly would. So hopefully Villains Land does solve some of that problem. But to me, 3 rides, more rides, even the smaller ones, because Dumbo has Lightning Lane, right? So this Ursula thing will have Lightning Lane, more money, more Lightning Lane sales, right? That's what I see screaming here. And this is what about the typical rides that they have now. Universal, because someone could say, oh, look, Dark Universe is using the same Harry Potter and Forbidden Journey ride system, right? And fair point. But I counter with, at least they upgraded it to a newer, modern version. That not just the ride vehicles are different, but the actual arm is in a different place. It's a whole different movements. So if Disney's going to use the same ride system as Shanghai Boat System, that's been out. I mean, that came out 10 years old now.
2016.
Yeah. So you would think maybe they would hopefully do a version 2 of that. You upgrade it in some way, so it's a little bit different than literally just a copy and paste. I just bought the Shanghai boat system and that's it. At least Universal, if they use the same thing, they usually upgrade it if it's been over a decade. I don't think they will, but I do hope Disney will find a way to upgrade, and that way still be new, Because think about it with Tron even. Tron is just the same thing as in Shanghai, and that they didn't upgrade that at all. It's just copy and paste. So I don't know. I hope it's different.
I do too, and I would actually like to see what a take on Monsters Unchained, the Disney version. I mean, you could have a really cool dark ride, let's say in the vein of almost like a Rise of the Resistance, like a real epic e-ticket trackless ride vehicle where you have maybe 7 or 8 show scenes, 7 or 8 different villains, and you go through the magic mirror to get into each scene, and you have each villain represented. Something like that is kind of what I was expecting going into this. I was not expecting a Emperor's New Groove roller coaster and an Ursula spinner. I'm sorry, that was not on my bingo card at all. I mean, that's crazy to me.
You don't think so? That's
I mean, it's things like this. I guess what they're proposing here, it seems like, I guess you kind of get an idea as to why that J.K. Rowling may have said no to Disney when they originally wanted Harry Potter areas. Because, I mean, look at the stuff they're proposing, even 10, 20 years later.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, I think it's crazy to me. This is an instant home run. This is money on the table. And when it was early, like in Vash, you reported on earlier on in this video where it's like the original inspiration was Darkmoor. That's the vibe. That's the vibe you want to go in with this land. For some reason, Disney decided, nah, you know, we're going to do Isle of Berk. Now, Isle of Berk, Wizard, we've talked about it. I mean, it's in our good friend Almighty Coasters. You guys love that area. It looks amazing. But that's not the vibe, though, that you want to go for this thing. If you want to build Pixar Brave Land, yes, you do Isle of Berk. That's the vibe for like maybe a franchise like Brave. But you don't do that for villains, dude. You got to have a little bit of an edge here. Are they scared because it's Magic Kingdom? I don't know.
Well, I think they are scared because it's Magic Kingdom, right? Because Magic Kingdom is always kind of the family-friendly destination. And I think Wizard pointed out to me, actually, on the phone earlier this evening that, hey, if you are scared about this idea that you're going to be putting something a little bit more adult-oriented or twisted or scary in this park, then take it out of Magic Kingdom entirely and put it in a separate park. Leave this area of land for something a little bit more fitting for a vision that, I don't know, is a little bit more ambitious than what's actually being projected here. This seems to be like New Fantasyland 2.0, at least to my mind. There's really no difference. It's, okay, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Well, that's basically if you wanted to take a Emperor's New Groove take on a Slinky Dog Dash coaster. It's basically what you're getting with that attraction, right?
To that point, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is located, boy, I don't know, 3,000 steps away from this new coaster. So
yes,
it's too similar of a coaster. You know, you can't have like a whole bunch of Revenge of the Mummies in the same park, right? Or a whole bunch of Barnstormers in the park. Right. There's different. I mean, look at Universal Hollywood, right? You have they have different levels of coasters. It's the smallest park, and you still have different levels of coasters. You have Flight of the Hippogriff, the Kitty Baby coaster, right? Starting up. Then you have Mummy, the intermediate. Everyone go on that. Then Hollywood Drift will be super intense. It's okay to have a loop, like not just don't. If you don't like it, just don't go on that coaster. There's like 40 other rides to go on in Magic Kingdom. It's a villain's land. It screams a little more intense, like for teenagers than you're at. We should have Eisner go on this project because he understands it with his
Eisner understood the business 100%, and he had the guts to actually make stuff a little scarier. So did Walt Disney. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing too. Exactly, Alien Encounter. Exactly, and here's the other thing to you guys. I have been a supporter of this Rivers of America thing. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I do think that Magic Kingdom needs to reinvent itself and separate itself from Disneyland. I've been a supporter of that change. I think you do need to do some bold stuff here, similar to what we saw with Hollywood Tower of Terror going into Mission Breakout, to kind of give your own little vibe, your own little imprint. But this is the thing. If you're going to remove the Rivers of America, you have to replace it with a banger.
Oh, yeah.
Really I mean, Splash Mountain, if you're going to remove it, you got to make sure the replacement's amazing.
Because you have to overcome what came before, right? Because it will be constantly compared to that if you don't. Go ahead, Audrey.
No, exactly, Vash. So is a Ursula spinner and a
I don't believe that's a thing.
Oh, me too. And an Emperor's New Groove family coaster that's on par with Slinky Dog. Is that enough to justify the removal of the Rivers of America? As someone who supported that move, I can tell you it's not, in my opinion.
Well, and here's the other thing too. So, okay, apparently we're going to get like, a Shanghai style boat ride, right? That being Pirates of the Caribbean over there in Shanghai Disneyland. That opened in 2016, as Wizard beautifully pointed out right there. And it's going to be themed to Maleficent in this case, right? Well, that's the problem. The largest show building, at least with the current plans, as they are officially filed with those agencies, SIFTOD and SwiftMud, if we look, the largest of them is anywhere between 70,000 to 83,000 square feet. Well, Rise of Resistance, that's double-decker, is 165,000. So, look, I mean, if we were to link these together, perhaps we have amended filings that will be happening soon in order to enlarge these spaces. I'm not sure, but as it currently exists, a boat ride, I mean, remember, the Pirates of the Caribbean boat ride, that's the largest show building Disney's ever constructed. So how does that fit within something that's, half the size of Rise of Resistance? It really doesn't. So something's not playing out here. Something's not adding up here. Otherwise, it's going to be maybe even more disappointing than we could possibly think of if they keep that same footprint. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. And I don't like where this is going because there's so much riding on this. Like you said, OG, Universal of America was destroyed for this. Okay, a lot of people disagreeing with that decision, but a decision that has already been made. Not only that, this will define this era of Imagineering. Okay, and this era of Josh Giamaro being the CEO. All of these things are coming to a head right here, and Universal is nipping on their heels when it comes to competition from the other side. There's so much riding on this. You got to get this right. And this doesn't placate any of those at all, I don't think.
Can we stop, pause on this concept art right here? I have an actual question for both of you.
Sure.
And this concept right here, obviously take away the coaster on that. I know it's like semi-blue sky, but this here, for me, if you just take away the coaster and like if they went with this architecture, because I know, as Vash astutely pointed out, they have a certain type of architecture they're wanting to do, and if it's this, that's fantastic. But I don't know. To me, this looks great. This rock work, but if they think the rides are too scary or doing family friendly, this doesn't scream family friendly to me. Is it going to look like the Owl of Berk too? I mean, I'm kind of scared to see what the updated concept art eventually looks like.
Hey, Wizard, you brought up a great point. I'm glad you brought it up because you're absolutely right. This doesn't correlate with the family-friendly direction.
To kids, so I don't know.
Exactly. It's not going to look like if the inspiration is Isle of Berk, it's not looking like this. I can tell you that right now.
No, I don't think it is. And apparently, I mean, that's where we're going. Maybe there is a difference in tone here. I want to go ahead and get MJ on very, very fast, OG, because I'm sure she'd like to correspond with you before you have to leave. We have Miss MJ coming right in here. MJ, you've heard the arguments, you've heard the conversations, you've heard the discussion between us. Very passionate. What say you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, you guys are really making some really valid points, but I have to say, coming from a person that has small children, right? So now we're going to the parents' perspective of things, and I know you got to leave soon, OG. This Villains Land cannot be anything short of magnificent, marvelous. And it has to be like, whoa, there's a reason why Josh was over at Epic checking out Dartmoor. But you guys, where's the clip? Lower expectations. Because honestly, you're not going to have a Velocicoaster in Villains Land. What I think they are trying to do is cater more to families with small children. And I'll tell you why. Sure. This is in the Magic Kingdom. It's going to be Fantasyland 2.0. They have to coincide with Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. They have to think about all these things, height requirements. We are giving them way too much credit right now. We're like, oh, they need to do this, they need to do that. No, they're going to scale it down because they want to make sure that your 3-year-old toddler can go on this ride with you. And if you think about it, The Emperor's New Groove, whether you like that movie or not, it's comedy, but Yzma and Kronk are villains. They're loved villains, and it's the meme of the century, for decades. It's been, that movie's 20 years old? Because I was 15 when it came out. Whatever.
26, because it came out in 2000.
All right. Yeah. So that movie, all the memes, pull the lever, Kronk. They're gonna give that to us. It's happening. Yeah. It's not gonna. It's probably gonna be something like seven, like Vash was saying, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, or the Slinky Dog, which we don't really want, right? But it's probably going in that direction. It's in the Magic Kingdom. It's going to cater to children and families.
And that goes to my previous point of, yes, then stick it over in the small, tiny Hollywood studios, because then you can go, balls to the wall, as someone would say, right? Also, think about this. If you talk about just the roller coasters portion itself, Monsters, Inc. will have a more intense roller coaster than Villains Land. Blows my mind.
You're right.
That's true.
It's also, but that's also in Hollywood studios, if you think about it. So they could be a little bit more daring over there. But
I know that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's in Hollywood studios, which the funny. But I'm talking about like IPs. Why you think Monsters Inc. would like maybe be in like in this plot of land for Monstropolis, and then Villains Land over there. It's funny. Monsters Inc. like more family friendly brand will have a more intense.
I'll tell you what though. What I want, what we really should look forward to is being immersed in Villains Land, and the sidelines do matter. We want to be like in the layer, right? We want to be like, whoa, we're not in Fantasyland.
But with
Isle
of Burke inspiration, I'm nervous of that too.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
because it's got Stardust next to it. And here's the thing, MJ. I mean, you're immersed in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. You can't see sightlines out there, but that doesn't necessarily, improve that land to the minds of guests. And by the way, Drew Taylor in his article actually says as much. Apparently, Imagineers are like, yeah, it didn't really do what we thought it would. Go ahead, OJ. Sorry, I know you're. At the heat.
And he's got to get going too.
Yeah, before I go, I do want to say one thing.
Please.
I just hope Josh Giamaro doesn't make Avatar bigger and bolder. Can we leave it the way it is, please? And I don't
Gosh.
Okay. Well,
Boulder involves taking the Hyperion away for a spinner.
Oh no! Don't you dare, Josh Giamaro. No, look. Oh gee. Here's the interesting thing. Okay, but a little digression, but we'll get right back onto it very quickly before you go. Okay, a lot of people saying, "Hey, why go for the Avatar? Avatar's on the downswing. Maybe go to Zootopia. Zootopia, that's on the upswing, right? I mean, look at the tremendous box office success it's had. You're talking about a franchise that's here versus Avatar that's kind of a little bit down there and a little bit maybe old in the tooth. What do you think about that idea for Disney California Adventure? Do you think that might be something that might be, I don't know, brought up?
Instead, the Dark Ride will get the Zootopia spinner.
Yeah, exactly. Right? No, exactly. Well, no, I think that Zootopia in that spot would be brilliant. I really do. But my issue with it is that decision should have been made 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so now if you go in there and you switch it to Zootopia, now because we're not even going to get Avatar till like 2031 probably. So imagine if now they have to scratch all of that, do Zootopia. We're not going to get Zootopia for like a decade. And my issue with that, my fear with that is Disney likes to, when they're not really sure, we've seen it with Tomorrowland, they just forget about it. Like we just,
or they'll put up some art and keep it there for a while and then forget about it. Then
exactly
the art on the wall and still
exactly. DCA needs the work, and I don't want to see this thing go into creative limbo forever.
True.
That's a problem. I mean, yeah, no, Zootopia would fit beautifully there, and then you can bring back a red car trolley because then it makes sense again, and you can do, that's great. But it's just, I just worry because if they change it now, then we're stuck in this whole process from day one again, and it's like we're even further out. So it's scary, and DCA needs the plussing. They've really kind of let it go since the 2012 stuff. Like we haven't really gotten anything major in that park for a while, and it needs it. And especially when you only sit feet away from like one of the greatest theme parks of all time, Disneyland, they got to bring it. So I'm down for Zootopia. I just feel like it's a little late in the game now,
And it might be a little bit late in the game. We'll have to see where we end up going here. I do wonder where those franchises will be by the time that whatever land actually opens. It looks like Zootopia. I mean, it seems like the way to go to me, even though I'm an Avatar fan more than I am a Zootopia fan, but c'est la vie, that's what we're getting, or at least that's what we're getting, at least on paper right now. OG, please showcase the channel before you are out. We got going on over there at Orange Grove 55.
Yes, but Vash Sky, amazing host as always. MJ, appreciate you as always, and Mr. Theme Park Wizard. I appreciate all of you and everybody in the chat. It's been an amazing time. I want to again congratulate you, Vash, for the jumpstart of your brand new channel. It's been a huge success already, so congrats to you on that for sure. You can find me right here on YouTube, Orange Grove 55, talking theme park, studio, all that good stuff. I have these gentlemen on all the time. MJ, you're always welcome to come on OG 55 too, talk shop with us. And I appreciate everybody. I had a good time today, and have a good rest of the show.
Absolutely. I'll be on OG55 very, very shortly. And I'll make sure to send you a collaboration link over there, OG, for this content. So that way your viewers can see you at your very, very best, or at least in a place where, you're also your very best. You know what I mean? Anyway, OG, thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. We will talk to you soon. Getting back to the Villains Land discussion here.
Should I go back into my lair?
No. You can stay out here. You don't have to. We don't have to put you in the back right there. No. Come on out. We need you for this one because exactly. Here's the thing. Okay. So Villains Land. All right. Look, a lot of people when they were cheering for this at the D23 Expo in 2024. Okay, and it was thunderous applause, as Drew Taylor would say. They were not cheering for an Ursula spinner. Again, a concept with its origins back with Disney California Adventure, I think like 15 years before this day, right?
2012, yeah. Long time ago.
For the 2012 redo, they were thinking, hey, look, let's put an Ursula spinner in one of the helixes of California Screamin', now Incredicoaster. We eventually got Emotional Whirlwind, and that came at the cost of the Malibu.
It's so funny. It seems like those helixes are cursed, or at least the one over there, by the entrance to the Incredicoaster. Because remember, the Incredible Spinner was supposed to go there too, and it never went there.
Yes.
That's how long, folks, this idea has been flapping around.
There's so much good. There's so many good comments in the live chat, and I agree too, man. The new Emperor's New Groove, I could totally see that being an attraction in Tropical Americas. I've been saying that forever, and the film, an IP attraction like Up, because obviously that's where they're going, right? Everything has to be IP. They can't come up with anything, on something amazing like a. Kind of like we had with Dinosaur over in Animal Kingdom. And what is another original IP that's in the parks that we all enjoy and love? Pirates of the Caribbean. They couldn't come up with anything like that from Villains Land. We're just going to have IPs thrown at us like crazy. But yeah, I think Emperor's New Groove would have been probably better off over at Tropical Americas than Villains Land. But I have a soft spot for Yzma and Kronk. They're awesome villains.
And that could be a nice meet and greet in the land. Oh yeah, that could be a nice meet and greet. And the land instead of a roller coaster. But I'd say, that back to the DC, that Pacific corner. That's along this idea that Ursula Spinner's been kicking around. Paradise Pier got revamped 2 times in this time since this idea's been kicking around, and now it's only just being brought back here.
That's so crazy. And to the thought of having 5 spinner attractions in the same park is insane. By the way, I see Culture Casino out there in the chat right there. Sent you a link on the Slack there if you want to go ahead and come.
But Culture, if you put it in the comment, it says the Up concept is amazing. Whole new ride system. Well, see, that's where you lost Disney. They don't like those anymore. Whole new ride.
Yeah, they don't like those anymore, and that's the problem. OG.
Reuse ones.
That's the problem, Wizard. Sorry, got confused there for a second because I was so passionate about it. Wizard, that is exactly the problem. Where is the ambition? These are concepts for rides going back 15, 20 years.
Right.
And it's like, this is, the big, bold plan. No, this is you telling your creative artists today you don't trust them. You don't trust their new plans, their new concepts, what they filed patents for within the R&D department. You don't trust any of that. We'll just go ahead and do the things that Imagineers before you originally conceptualized, and we'll go ahead and pilfer from those. It's a real slap in the face, not only to the fans but to the creative. Go ahead, Wizard.
If the budget was really secondary as he claimed, you would think you would get a whole new ride system and stuff. And if Culture is still in the chat, come on here, man. I want to hear him talk about say bologna sausage over and over again. I got to hear his thoughts on this. So if he's in there, please join.
Please do, Culture, and only if you can. But that's the thing, and I see Rudio out there in the chat. Hey, hello there, good sir. I was just gonna feature one of your tweets right here, which is absolutely fascinating.
I like that comment.
Exactly. All that blue sky, and that's what you concluded. Villains Land needed. Josh, time to clean house at WDI. Indeed, I am extremely disappointed that out of all the blue sky and all the things that you can possibly do, this is what you come up with. And apparently, I mean, as Wizard was pointing out before, what did version 1 have? We do get a little taste of this, Wizard, when it comes to the restaurant concept. Apparently it's going to be Hercules inspired, or at least Hades inspired, right? You're going to have Pain and Panic there. That'll be part of the hijinks. I'm sure Hades himself would be there in a big way. Again, this is harkening off of like Be Our Guest Restaurant, for example. This is why I say New Fantasyland 2.0, because it sounds a lot in that same vein. But the concepts before this apparently lie with Madame Mim from The Rescuers, if I'm not mistaken. Am I getting that correct?
The Sword in the Stone?
Well, Well, let me just
Madam Mim is
verify
from
here.
the Sword and the Stone. I thought
Okay.
she's a villain from the Sword and Stone. Yeah.
Let me just verify. I might have that wrong. Madam
okay.
Medusa. Sorry, Madam
Oh,
Medusa.
Okay.
From the Rescuers, Bayou
I
Vibes,
love her.
all of that.
That would be so cool. Can you imagine Rescuers Down Under boat ride with her and all kinds of craziness?
Well,
here's
the thing. Here's the thing. Rescuers itself wasn't like a huge box office phenomenon when it came out. The Rescuers Down Under was even less. Actually, I think they pulled the marketing for that 1 week out from its release date because it had bombed so badly at the box office, which is really, really sad. I know Thomas Schumacher was very upset about that. Jeffrey Katzenberg telling him it's going to be okay. And obviously they had tremendous success with their next feature film. That would be The Beauty and the Beast. But getting back to it, it's like, okay, look, I understand you want to do kind of these deep cut characters, right? It's like the Rescuers, right? Like that's the most relevant franchise and villain that we can actually pull from this whole thing. I mean, where is Captain Hook? Where is the evil queen from Snow White? You could do, could you imagine a restaurant in which you're served like apple-based products, right? From all types, and it's you've got candy apples as a dessert, obviously, or maybe you have apple-inspired dishes for the main entrees and so forth. In this kind of, I don't know, twisted castle kind of thing, you could make you could do a lot of stuff with that kind of concept right there with I would say a more popular character. Why on earth are there so many deep cuts for a land in which people's expectations are so high? I just don't understand the thought process here. Maybe MJ, maybe Wizard, you can inform me in on this.
Is it bad that I had lower expectations from the jump? From the beginning, I've had lower I'm not surprised right now. I usually would be in an uproar and I would be like, screaming, but I cannot get upset because this doesn't shock me. They have been disappointing us for how long now? It's just getting old. They just have to, like a lot of people in the comments were saying, clean up house at WDI. Obviously, it's just not hitting the nail. I don't understand what it's going to take. And I don't think that they care. I really don't. And it's sad to say it. We have so many ideas. It's so simple, right? Because you're Disney and you could do it. You could blow Darkmoor out of the water if you want to. But why can't they do it? Why are we getting an Ursula spinny thingy? I don't know. I can't grab it. I can't. But I'm not shocked. This is and you pulled out the rivers for that. People are going to be livid.
They're already outraged. They're already very upset about these rumors, and a lot of people are hoping that this isn't true, or maybe this is rage bait or something like that. And I've heard from WW Pro and so forth that he's saying this is entirely not true. This is all fabricated and everything like that. But Drew Taylor provides so much in the way of detail that you have to think.
I heard the same exact thing from somebody else before this article came out.
Oh, how very, very interesting. I think there's a nugget of truth here, as Tom Corliss has recently said on his program. It's just, how did we get to this point with this is the most anticipated of all of these expansions. Look, Cars is great and all. Tropical Americas will be, I think, a fine addition to Animal Kingdom. Disney Studios needs all the rides it can get. Maybe not the expensive Muppet Vision 3D, but c'est la vie, that's what we're getting. This is the one. This is the big one right here. And it just seems that they don't trust in their own ambition. Wizard, I think you pointed it out beautifully. It's like, where is the ambition? Where is the bigger, bolder?
Look, I mean, even look at Cars Land in 2012 for DCA, right? Still one of like most perfect places ever. You have the main e-ticket ride, new ride system. I mean, well, it took some upgraded the Epcot test track ride system, right? There's an upgrade like what Universal did with Monsters and Train, upgraded the system, upgraded that. But even the flat rides, not one spinner. You have to start off with the what do we call it? The flying tires situation.
Right.
Which was new, and hey, it didn't work out, but they tried something, and then they still they took it out, and didn't put a spinner. They still tried something else. One of the first trackless rides ever, right? The
Right.
Super cool. And then
Mhm.
Mater's even had the whip system. That was pretty new for that time. I don't remember seeing that anywhere. And now, of course,
Mhm.
they came to Toy Story Land. But I feel like that was the last time they really, from e-ticket to D-ticket to C-ticket, they did all new things. At least tried to do something unique versus just like concept they already did before, you know?
And you know what else I just realized? I'm like, this is going to be like on Josh's 3-course meal. This is his appetizer. He's just getting started. And this is
That's
going
very
in the book
true.
for him. It's going to be all over. It's going to be all over social media. It's going to be in the headlines of every news outlet in America, globally. This is what we are being served by Josh D'Amaro as the
Right.
new CEO of Walt Disney Company.
Because this will apparently open up, while Josh D'Amaro is actually at the helm of the Walt Disney Company as its CEO. And Drew Taylor actually makes that very clear in his rap article, says that, hey, look, this is likely going to open up, 5 years into my tenure, and this will reflect on me. And so, at least from Drew Taylor's perspective, and the argument that he makes is Josh D'Amaro might be thinking, hey, I'm going to go ahead and change this now, so as it reflects properly when I actually, am at the CEO position right there. But I don't think this is necessarily going to make him look at all any good. Like you said, MJ, it's just like, and that's the thing, folks. And we'll get into it when we get into the expanded Josh D'Amaro and Dana Walden discussion, because I think Variety had some very, very interesting nuggets laden in their articles that they had released yesterday. But everything you associate with post-pandemic Disney, Josh D'Amaro has been at the helm for all of it. Every single part of it. Sometimes actually shepherding these changes himself. Disney Disney Parks blog posts, or even letters to Imagineers, for example. He was the one that penned it to Imagineers, talking about Lake Nona and how he was giving 18 months for Imagineers to uproot their lives from Glendale, California, and make the move out east over to Lake Nona, Florida, or else they didn't have a job. Now, unfortunately, that plan, for Imagineers, that is, unfortunately, that plan didn't actually go through. So a lot of people who did uproot their lives now are left holding the bag, and that's a terrible prospect. Drew Taylor also makes note of the Galactic Star Cruiser and how that was an incredible failure, and that's got Josh D'Amaro all over it.
That's true.
And I do believe that was a Bob Chapek initiative dating back to his time with the company, and as far as its as part of its chairman position for the experiences division. But still, Josh D'Amaro's all over that as well. So it's like, I'm just not thrilled with what Josh D'Amaro has been able to coax out of his Imagineers, at least so far. We know Epcot. We know what happened there. We know Tiana's By Adventure. We know what happened there.
Terrible.
Wizard, MJ, is there any hope at all that this project can be salvaged? I mean, could they maybe possibly dream even bigger and bolder than blowing out the dust off of 10, 15, and 20-year concepts? What do you think?
If they dare. Wizard, go ahead. Oh, you're muted, hun. I gotcha.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, I think it'll be as you said on the phone, or just safe. It'll just be like, I'm sure,
Safe.
okay and good, and it's nice, but it's nothing certainly big and dull and ambitious and daring. It'll just be like safe. Like, we can get those lightning lane dollars because these are tried and true ride systems. So we got this. It's just safe, but it's certainly not the best they can be. But I guess they're okay. Like with Tiana's By Adventure, I guess they're okay with good enough.
They stopped taking risks a long time ago. They used to be the leader and lay out the landscape for everyone else to take risks. They're just letting Universal go up, 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 and just like K-pop until it's over.
Well, I know the mindset here. I know the philosophy, right? It's like, okay, whatever e-ticket that we have to make sure that it's big, bold, daring in order to sell at least 10 years worth of single pass Lightning Lane. As people might not be readily aware, if you go to Rise of Resistance at Disneyland, or Radiator Springs Racers over at Disney California Adventure, or even Rise of Resistance over at Disney Hollywood Studios, you have to pay separately in order to embark on the lightning lane path of that journey, that being a reduced wait time that's not included into the multi-pass lightning lane package. So for every time you want to ride, let's say this Maleficent boat ride, you have to dole out $20, $30, maybe even $40 per person per ride in order to engage with that experience via lightning lane. That's what they're trying to accomplish here. And what I want to ask the audience here is whether or not you would necessarily pay $30 per person per ride for something like a Maleficent boat ride based on the Shanghai Pirates of the Caribbean technology. Would you pay $70 plus for a prefix dinner over there at the Hades restaurant? See, that's the interesting thing here. That Hades restaurant is taking its cues from Be Our Guest restaurant, where no matter what, I mean, no matter how big your party is, no matter if you have kids or whatever, the minimum for each person to be there in that seat is $70 per person, and you basically have a limited menu from which you pick items from, and that's the bag. Would you actually do that? Because I don't know if these concepts, as they are rumored to be showcased in this article right here, are strong enough to warrant that incredible price tag. I'm just not buying it, especially with the franchises chosen and so forth. I've heard of incredible rides. Wizard, I was detailing to you, I remember, I think like 15 years ago, this kind of Villain's Land concept where you would have a boat ride, but it would like transform, and it would actually be a flying attraction at a certain point. It would be villains themed, and it was actually a villains mashup ride where you would have multiple villains that would take place, take center stage in that ride throughout your journey. Not too dissimilar to what we have with Monsters Unchained over there at Epic Universe. I also have heard concepts of like a villains inspired Disney California Adventure Paradise Pier, where like the launch system, right? The launches for California Screamin', or now Incredicoaster, you hold there for a little while. Well, what if tentacles actually came up from around your coaster car up that amazing pier, that Paradise Bay that you actually launch from, and try to envelop your coaster car, and then you take off right at the last second? Those were some very interesting ideas. I don't think any one of these ideas speculated here in this article by Drew Taylor are as intriguing or interesting.
Well, we got one thing from that concept you described on Paradise Pier. We got the Ursula spinner.
We got the best aspect, Wizard. We got that.
And so what we've tried to do is really bring that shape language from the architecture.
But like what we love to talk about at WDI is shape language. And we often refer to shape language.
There's such iconic shape language in Spaceship Reverie Attraction. We really wanted to make sure that we fused to that throughout the space.
Really sure what happened there. Sashi showed up. There was a lot of shape language going on in the live chat, and Sashi was like,
"Yeah,
what would you like to do here?"
Sashi, she started demanding some commission. She's famous over here.
Yes, that's true.
On YouTube,
a dark ride with Sachi? That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, she is certainly popular over here on Vash Sky ParkCast and on That Park Place, where we have featured her extensively, that's for sure. But I do forget that this is that era of Imagineering where they put an enhanced emphasis on shape language. And hey, look at that. A concept featuring a
quite a shape. Yeah,
tentacled.
look at Ursula. She has a lot of shapes going on.
She got a lot of shapes going on. And it's kind of funny because Jim Shaw was like, hey, that's my artwork right there. So as Drew Taylor pointed out, a good idea.
Let's just hope it doesn't look even worse than that, And this,
it's not the very best.
At least in that flat ride, it looks like the individual cars, it looks like they're spinning. It looks like you're able to spin them. It's like a flying teacup situation. That would be a little bit unique versus just literally Dumbo.
It would have been, I don't know if you could put this together, but you know how when you go on the River Adventure and the Jurassic World version in Hollywood, California, and then there's that, I know they use a lot of screens, and then there's like that water gushing, and it looks like it's going to come. Maybe they could have done something like that for Ursula instead of doing a spinner ride. Maybe.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Look,
if they
there's a
really
lot of-
wanted to put their heads to it, that would have been really different. It doesn't have to be a replica. It's just an idea, right?
That's true. And I am more convinced now than ever before that the most imaginative amongst the ranks of WDI have now left and have gone over to Universal, because that seems to be the only place where we're really getting some ingenuity. I mean, look, for all the problems that Epic Universe has, and there are many, one of the things that it doesn't have a problem of it are unique experiences and ride systems. Like Donkey Kong, for example, Wizard, brand new coasters and entirely in the form of the coaster at, well, actually both Darkmoor and Isle of Berk. But that fantastic Monsters Unchained, Wizarding World with that amazing dark ride that it has over there, all of these experiences, very unique, custom, groundbreaking, etc. We'll have to see what groundbreaking ideas come out of Villains Land, but initial signs, not very encouraging.
The audience spoke really loud.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how they feel right now.
That seems to be the overarching opinion, that's for sure.
The only groundbreaking thing out of all the projects announced seems to be that door coaster. And that's about it.
You're absolutely right. I don't think we have an attraction like that in the globe.
Itself is a 20-plus-year-old concept, but at least it's groundbreaking.
That's insane.
That's true. That's a very good point right there. Yeah. Remember the door coaster being showcased
from the California Adventure and stuff, but
yeah.
A few questions that were you want me to pull up the questions the audience asked, Vash?
Oh, please. Let's go ahead and bring those up before our next segment.
Yeah,
right
that's
here.
from the first segment. So
I see. Orange Go 55, that is. Don't you think more jobs would have been lost if Netflix won? Yeah, that's an interesting case that he makes. I think one could make the argument that because Netflix and Warner Brothers were so distinct in their business lines, that maybe some more jobs would be maintained versus like Paramount, for example, because they're already so much into the studio space. You might have to lay off some jobs only because you have a lot of overlap there, right? So I think that's what he was referring to. I will say, from a theatrical standpoint, imagine the jobs that could have been lost if the theatrical industry goes away. That's another item that is worth considering right there. Next question. All right, from Mark as well. What about those working in the theater industry? Indeed, he was right on right there. Right on. Go ahead. And we have Sean, formerly... Oh, yes. Yes, the artist formerly known as John. Gotcha. I do apologize there. I thought they were going to expand Villains Land, spend more money on it than originally planned, and the opposite. Heard both. Yeah, exactly. We're trying to sort out fact from fiction. That's the thing, because there's two different narratives going on. There's two different things going on. One is, hey, the bigger, bolder reimagining of this land happened very much early on in the development phase. The other point that we're hearing is that, from Lentessa's perspective, that this reimagining happened very recently, specifically in December. So we're trying to suss that out. All I can go by is the filings that have been filed by Disney via the South Florida Water Management District and SIFTOD, and it looks like they're not super ambitious. We'll see. Maybe they amend those filings. Go ahead. I believe that is it right there. Let's go ahead and get to some CEO president drama. That is with Josh D'Amaro and Dana Walden. Variety has this amazing piece that is really revelatory, I must say. Oh boy, is the honeymoon phase over? It might be. There you go, from Variety. Can new Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro weather AI, revitalize Star Wars and Marvel, and save the Magic Kingdom all in one fell swoop, it seems. This by... it looks like it wasn't actually preserved. Okay, I'm using this format here. As you can see, this is a PDF document because it is so long. I've had to highlight specific portions of this. That way we provide the Only
I love the
best.
artwork, Vash. I'm so sorry. The artwork,
Yes.
the Haunted Mansion layout, it's amazing. I love it.
And look at the artwork very closely there, MJ, because the one broken head, that's Bob Chapek. Why am I not surprised? Bob Chapek got the broken head on that in that lineup right there. Oh, this is amazing stuff. Anyway, this is from Variety. I'll get you the author's name in just a second here. I have it somewhere. But for right now, very, very interesting. It was around 5 in the morning on Disneyland's 70th birthday in the summer of 2025, and tens of thousands of staffers and guests had arrived early to watch Josh D'Amaro and Bob Iger ring in the anniversary in the park's Esplanade. D'Amaro, then chairman of Disney Experiences and soon to be named the company's CEO, was delivered the welcoming remarks on stage in front of the iconic garden boasting 5,900 flowers planted in the shape of Mickey Mouse's face. The marching band was on hand to welcome the executives. Minnie and Goofy were waiting in the wings. Snow White, Chip and Dale, and other beloved characters were packed into a train car ready to be rolled along the tracks of the Disneyland Railroad, and a parade was scheduled to glide down Main Street. Cameras were set up to record the celebration for a Gauss special on ABC. Handlers scrambled to find the chairman of the parks. As fans pushed against the gates, the executives were set to ring in the New York Stock Exchange bell and take a photo with 36,000 cast members. The clock was ticking. Finally, the handlers located D'Amaro, and he had slipped under the ropes and gone to the back of the crowd and was walking amongst clusters of employees, shaking hands and chatting. That's a custom of his, to always go to the people furthest from the stage and do his Josh thing, says Marcus Buckingham, a leadership expert who shadowed D'Amaro for his upcoming book, Design Love in How to Unleash the Most Powerful Force in Business. This sets the tone for this entire article, saying, hey, Josh is just a lovable guy. He's the best guy. He is awesome. He's perfect for the role as CEO. Isn't it great? Isn't it fantastic? And we have showed footage of this event right here where Bob Iger's ringing the stock exchange bell in the Main Street of Disneyland for the 70th anniversary. We've showed that before. And, there's a comedic laugh there because as Bob is ringing that bell, the whole platform is shaking right there. But suffice it to say, Josh D'Amaro is being set up as the savior of the Mouse House. The 55-year-old executive will need to show that same drive as he takes on the biggest challenge of his career. Iger, who became CEO in 2005, will hand him the king's keys to the Mouse House on March 18th. Though the Walt Disney Company remains the most storied brand in Hollywood, the entertainment landscape it once dominated is shifting dramatically, forcing D'Amaro and the company he will lead to adapt with it. And here's the thing, Wizard, we talked about this before you actually got on, but there's big changes right now in the entertainment industry, as you well know. AI and now Paramount winning the big for Warner Brothers. Wizard, just initially, I want to hear from you. Do you think Josh D'Amaro is capable of leading Disney into the new era of this very transformative industry?
Boy, it's gonna be tough. There's a lot of stuff happening. I know he's from the parks department, and Dana's more so on the other side. I'm not sure if he has much experience over there, and if he gathered a lot during his CEO run there. So I am curious. He does know, since he is from consumer products, he knows like what sells and what movies people do like and what sells in the parks. So that's one thing. But about making new movies and original ideas, I'm not sure if he has it in him.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the open question right there, because I mean, Josh D'Amaro was signed on to lead the entirety of the Walt Disney Company, or at least that's what the CEO position was supposed to be centered all around, right? These duties weren't supposed to be necessarily shared. We'll detail through this article that might not be the case, and Dana Walden might have a little bit more control than anyone previously knew. MJ, give us one real second right here. I will go ahead and go to you after we get through a little bit more of this article. Don't you worry. Disney's rivals not only include traditional media conglomerates like Comcast that make their money by producing and distributing films and TV shows, but streaming giants such as Netflix that have transformed the way that people watch them. That's to say nothing of tech players like Apple and Amazon, which have muscled their way into the business by launching their own streaming services. And then there's YouTube and TikTok, which are siphoning off younger viewers at a dizzying rate with user-generated content. Disney and Josh have to get Hollywood back into the center of gravity of our culture, says Kevin Meyer, former head of Disney's global streaming business, co-CEO of Candle Media. It's interesting because they got Kevin Meyer and Tom Staggs to comment on this whole thing. I thought that was very interesting. Look, this is a changing landscape right here. And you got a lot of streaming services coming in. You've got some big tech companies now getting into the studio business in order to try to build out robust libraries of entertainment for their streaming services and so forth. Got Nathan over here saying, I think Josh has great charisma, but that isn't everything you need to lead a company like Disney. Indeed, you got to have some smarts too. And I just don't know if he's necessarily up to the challenge. Let's move on. The problem Josh faces is the one we're all struggling to solve. How do you manage the decline of cable and replace those earnings with streaming? Says one rival entertainment company chief. You have to oversee the transition while simultaneously finding ways to grow your business. D'Amaro, who joined Disney in 1998 as a sales and marketing executive, was tapped to lead the company because of his part of the Magic Kingdom is growing. Last quarter, Disney Experiences, which includes the parks, cruise ships, hotels, and consumer products, topped $10 billion in revenue for the first time in history. Even more impressive, under D'Amaro, that division was responsible for 71% of Disney's operating income. In contrast, D'Amaro rivals for the CEO job, Dana Walden and Alan Bergman, came from the entertainment division, which saw profits decline by 35%. And the operating income, or profit, of ESPN, led by Jimmy Pitaro, another challenger, dropped by 23%. Quote, for a lot of folks on Wall Street, there's a degree of comfort in Josh taking over the role, says Katgum Baral, I believe, media analyst at Evercore ISI. During the first of his 2 terms as CEO, Bob Iger deployed Disney's treasury to buy Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm, believing that the company with the greatest stockpile of intellectual property would win. How will D'Amaro make his mark now that he's calling the shots? It may not be the kind of transformative $71.3 billion deal that Iger signed to buy 20th Century Fox, given that Disney is carrying more than $45 billion in debt. MJ, this article goes on to list that Star Wars, Marvel, these acquisitions, they're not in the greatest shape right now. They have $45 billion of debt to contend with. They have a struggling cable service that is declining year by year. Maybe they can make sports work. We'll see. Disney Plus, not in the greatest financial position. It has become profitable over quarter, but it's nowhere near as profitable as cable was. And it certainly hasn't turned around the profits that would justify the $100+ billion invested into that streaming venture alone. Can Josh D'Amaro navigate all of this and make this company truly successful for the modern generation? What say you?
I really do have some optimism, but he has really shown his true colors. He will smile and wave and make a decision that leaves us all in shock. Very deceitful. A lot of people mentioned at D23. It's very deceiving. So yeah, you're presenting all of these new ideas and concept art and attractions and all of the things that we could look forward to, but not explaining where they will be going. And I think it trickles down. It's a domino effect from the Chapek era. And I just, I don't think he has what it takes to grab hold of the company and bring it back into the direction where it, and go back into the vision of Walt. It's Walt's company, and they have steered so far from that. My jaw will drop when I see Josh actually shifting things around in the right direction that will really live up to Walt's legacy and his vision and the dreams that he had for his company. So
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Josh D'Amaro, speaking of Walt's company and everything, and getting back to those core values, Josh D'Amaro has been the head of the parks during what I was saying before, the most maybe unpalatable time for Disney fans of the parks products that we know of, right? That we've seen in the parks, 70+ year history. All those terrible decisions that, have have shaken the amazing core experience of going to the parks has happened really under Josh D'Amaro as chairman of this division right here. Lightning Lane, for example, and the nickel and diming practices that we have seen, the removal of Magical Express, the changes to the Disney look, the implementation of the fifth key, Genie Plus in 2021, Lake Nona, China's Bay Adventure, all those things have come with Josh D'Amaro. Even Rivers of America, Villains Land, all happening under Josh. And so it's like, why are fans maybe expecting that anything will be different now that he's one step above where he was? I'm not so sure. And even the article bears this out. The central objection about Disney's parks over the past few years has been affordability. As their leader, D'Amaro has overseen price hikes that have seen one-day passes at Disneyland and Disney World top $200. Annual passes reach upwards of $1,628. I'll say this, at Disneyland, Magic Keys are going well over $1,900. So there you go. That stirred up complaints that what was once a family destination has become a getaway for the rich. Quote, there is hope among Disney fans that Josh D'Amaro will lower prices, says A.J. Wolf, author of Disney Adults, Exploring and Falling in Love with a Magical Subculture. I don't think he's going to do that. Why would he?
No.
And that's the thing. What say you, Wizard? Do you think that Josh D'Amaro will lower prices? Do you think that some of these things, right, that we have seen will slow down now that he's in charge of the entire company, or do these things continue?
Oh, they most certainly continue. I mean, look at what we just talked about with Villains Land. Adding a third ride to probably charge more Lightning Lanes and get some more money there, They'll definitely do those ticket deals like they do, like the SoCal resident ticket deal and all that stuff. But I don't think they'll ever lower the actual price. And if anything, like I said, it'll continue. Look at, again, Villains Land. They have the prefix menu rumored for the Hades dinner thing. That's expensive. So they'll just find more ways to charge you without raising the price too. Even the price stagnates, they'll find little different ways to charge you and nickel and dime you.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think we might see more creative ways.
But you know what? If it's a really good
if
it's a really good character dining experience, me personally, and obviously, we're not super rich, but I will pay for me and my family to have an amazing time. We are huge fans of character dining. Sometimes we go to the Walt Disney World Resort just to do character dining, stay at the resorts, and not even do the parks. And it's kind of been that way. I've noticed that we've been doing that for the past, I don't know, probably post-pandemic. We just have a better time, not always going into the parks. We enjoy those experiences, and if they do it properly, people will pay for that experience.
That's true.
They have to do it the right way, though. They cannot cheap out, and they have to deliver, and it has to be something that stands out, not just the characters that you're going to interact with, but the theming of the dining room or venue that they will have it has to be bar none. And the food, Universal is kicking it out of the parks, no pun intended, with food, because you're getting an experience and the food is phenomenal.
Yeah, I will say this about Food Wizard, and you know where I'm going with this. Universal has some of the best food options imaginable. Yes, they come at a higher price tag, but boy, oh boy, the ribs at Three Broomsticks or that amazing apple pie at that same...
And that butterbeer crepe.
Oh, the butterbeer crepe, so good. Even butterbeer ice cream and so forth. Isla Burke has some amazing food options in cone form that have been very, very popular, even at a higher price tag. Go ahead, Wizard.
Yeah, I was going to say, they actually, another reason they actually literally can't drop the price is because, as you mentioned, this article mentioned, right, they reached $10 billion in revenue. Wall Street likes that, but they like it for about a year or a quarter. Now they want to get to 15 billion or 11 billion. I mean, you can't drop a price, or else then you go to 9 billion in revenue. Then all of a sudden the stock goes way down. So you have to keep raising the bar, and you can't do that by lowering the price of the ticket.
Yeah, I love amazing point, Wizard. It's this kind of incremental growth that Wall Street expects quarter after quarter. So where's that going to come from? It's going to come from the backs of all of us, unfortunately.
So if he really starts using his noggin, it's not about dropping the price for the admission. Okay, fine. $180 plus tax, $200 a day. But how about giving us more bang for our buck? Throw in a couple of things in there. They have to get a strategy together that will make it more appealing. Bring back the Disney difference. Like, hey, yeah, your admission is this much, but you're going to get all these perks with your admission alone. You don't have to worry about shelling out your whole, going bankrupt once you get into the park over here.
That's very true.
They could do that if they want to.
But one company who is, profiting handily off of providing a great product in the first place, that being butter beer, well, is Universal right here. Dan's Laugh at the Kingdom bringing this up. This is very funny. Butter beer waffles. Oh my goodness. Coming to Universal Orlando Resort.
I will be trying it out.
1st of May. 31st. Yes. Are we trying it out, Wizard? I mean,
yes,
what?
I might. It's on Sunday. I can try it on Sunday. I'm gonna have after the butterbeer crepe. I'm now convinced I like butterbeer stuff again. I thought I just liked the drinks. I haven't had the ice cream, to be fair. I'm like, butterbeer ice cream? I don't know that. Well, tastes good, but boy, that I had that crepe, and now I'm convinced I trust them to do very well with butterbeer stuff. So I have to try all the butterbeer stuff.
I agree. I mean, butterbeer is my favorite snack ever at any theme park.
Also,
it doesn't matter
back
what it
to
is.
Nathan's question, I see he said, "Why do Walt Disney World churros suck?" That's a good question. I haven't had one, but the Disneyland churros are the best things I've ever had in my life. So the fact that Walt Disney World churros suck just astounding to me. I feel so bad for you guys. Another reason why West Coast, best coast, But yeah,
that's true.
Don't throw too much shade. We have some really good eats and snacks and tasty treats over at Springs. Okay,
that's true.
There is a car. I think it's our good friend Erica from Erica and Raph mentioned that the same company that does the churros over at Disneyland, they have the churro cart. It's either in Disney Springs or the Boardwalk. I can't remember which one she said, but if you guys come on Friday, you can ask us. Maybe she'll know.
Now, see, that's one a good thing I actually do like about the Disneyland Resort after going to Disney World again, or the property. But if I want those churros, I can just walk over to Disney or downtown Disney and then walk to the park. At Disney World, it's kind of more of a chore to do that, but very disappointing. But I do love our California churro in downtown Disney, the churro, same quality as the park. That was also the one churro cart I was able to get the Oreo churro, and that was fantastic when it was a limited time. Like, woo-wee, that was great.
One of the reasons why Disney World churros are inferior to Disneyland churros is that Disneyland churros are heated there on site in the
Wait, they
cart
don't
right
do
there.
that at Disney World?
They do not.
Oh no!
They don't.
No, they make them right in front. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit because they said, "Oh, we're cooking them," and you see them. Oh, I thought they did that at all the Disney properties.
Right, and they sugar them right there, which Walt Disney World does not do either.
And then they give it to you, and it's piping hot.
Piping hot.
Piping hot.
Fresh chef's kiss right there.
This train has left the station, all right, guys.
It has. That's Ray Farm also has fresh churros, made from scratch right there in front of you. Very interesting stuff. Okay, we'll get back to it, guys. Sorry about that. A little digression right there. But getting back to this article and actually getting back to entertainment. This is the headliner right here. The relationship between Dana Walden and Josh Diamaro. What does CEO mean? Here you go. Even as Disney moves more aggressively into gaming and parks for that matter, it needs to get the Magic Kingdom in order. Analysts and rival companies believe that some of Disney's most durable franchises suddenly look shaky. In partnership with Walden, who was promoted to the newly created role of President and Chief Content Officer, Diamaro will have to focus on reviving everything from superheroes to the sci-fi series. Overall, the company needs to develop new franchises to maintain the flywheel effect that feeds into streaming and the theme parks. Quote, Marvel is definitely in a rut. Doug Kreutz, an analyst with TD Cowen, says, quote, they haven't had a Star Wars movie in more than 6 years, he says, while noting that The Mandalorian Grogu is slated for a May release. Internally, this is hilarious, Wizard. You're going to love this part. There are concerns that an unconventional 36-second Super Bowl spot for The Mandalorian and Grogu that featured the title characters riding a wagon being pulled by tauntauns failed to generate the kind of excitement their marketing team was hoping to spark. Oh, you
What?
think
I'm so
so?
shocked. I had no idea. I thought it was a massive success. I think everybody knew what was happening at that commercial. Wow!
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't believe
exactly.
that. I can't believe this is their thought. My goodness, I'm just bewildered. Cannot believe it.
I'm shocked. Shocked that this would be the case. No, if people didn't already get the hint from Variety, by the way, showcasing a statement by Disney saying, "Oh, let's explain this Super Bowl ad." If you weren't tipped off on that, they're just basically telling you, yeah, we don't really believe in this whole thing. The film itself is something of a question mark, given that it's based on a streaming series and consequently may not seem like a big screen proposition for any but the most diehard Baby Yoda lovers. There's a sense that Star Wars Starfighter, a spinoff from Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy, is more likely to satisfy fans when it hits theaters next spring, with sources who have seen the footage praising Ryan Gosling's performance and suggesting that Levy has recaptured the franchise spirit and fun. Oh,
It is
boy.
also worth noting that, well, we have to see the Project Hail Mary, but besides Barbie, Ryan Gosling, it doesn't bring in that big of a box office number usually. Usually opens within the like 11 to 15 million-ish.
Yeah, you're
Very
right.
interesting to see how that works out there.
Yes, true.
That-
Very true.
That's a good point. Very, very good point. Look, when I think of Mandalorian and Grogu and, relaunching, Star Wars or catapulting it back into success and into the zeitgeist and so forth. Look, the company's betting big on this. That's the whole crux of this whole Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run update, right? They're putting a lot of stock into this thing. Hopefully it becomes a certified hit. I'm not sure, though. And some also shaky ground featured in this next paragraph with another franchise. Star Wars isn't the only franchise facing questions. Walden and DMR will also have to determine, I should say, if Disney should continue to fund James Cameron's cinematic journeys into Pandora. That most recent Avatar film, last year's Fire and Ash, brought in $1.4 billion globally. That's nearly $1 billion less than the previous installment earned. Given the cost of these films, every Avatar installment needs to be a massive to break even. Quote, even if you make $1 billion on the next movie, you still lose hundreds of millions, notes one insider. Wizard, we're going to base an entire land, I'm sure $1 billion plus or whatever the final number happens to be, on Avatar. And this franchise is on the downswing as reported by Variety. What say you? Do you think they should go forward still?
Well, yes, and no. Yes, because personally, I want it. I like it. I want to see it at nighttime. But two, I say no if they're not going to make it like the same quality as like Cars Land and Pandora and Animal Kingdom. You have to make it that high level quality, because then it can sustain whatever the box office does, like you said with Waterworld before and Cars Land and Pandora again and Animal Kingdom. I mean, that one came out 8 years after the first movie came out, with who knows, they had no idea when the second sequel was coming out at that point. And it's still massive. So people go to Animal Kingdom just to see that thing sometimes. Like, that was me. I wanted to go to Animal Kingdom just to see that. So as long as you make it that high quality stuff, and especially beautiful at nighttime, which California Adventures always closes at 9 or 10 p.m. So always have a nighttime thing 365 days a year, I think it'll be perfect. But just don't cheap out. You just can't cheap out on the thing. And the big boulder, the boulder thing, you just got to do what you showed us, and then they'll look great.
Yeah, bigger, bolder, better. Let's not apply that to Avatar. Whatever your initial plans were, let's just go ahead and stick with those. And like Wizard said, execution is more important than anything else. You can have the best IP in the world, Star Wars, for example, and the execution, if it's, not great, that land will be, people won't be the biggest fan of it. Versus like Avatar, for example, when Avatar was originally announced for Animal Kingdom, I mean, there was some real big pushback from the entire fan community on that. Oh, it doesn't fit in Animal Kingdom. This is bad. This is terrible. This is horrible. And then it actually opens up, and it's like one of the best things ever, and integrates itself perfectly with the story of Animal Kingdom. Why? Execution matters. Here we go. Let's go ahead and continue on real fast. Some pundits argue that the future of Marvel may ride on the hotly anticipated, quote, Avengers Doomsday. Although sources inside the company's film division believe that the health of the MCU does not hinge on an individual title, executives are pleased with the way with what they've seen so far from the December release, and rival studio heads privately predict, quote, Doomsday will be the year's highest grossing film. Now they're saying here, MJ, that Doomsday, that not everything hinges on Doomsday. But I kind of want to hear from you. Does it kind of hinge on Doomsday, the success of Marvel, that is? I mean, I think this is one of the most important films to be released in a long, long time, because if this doesn't work, where does Marvel go from here?
It's actually really scary because the movie that was in theaters not too long ago, I think that the guy who we always make fun of that shows up everywhere, Pedro, he was in it. What was it called again? Thank you. Did horribly. And it's just like, yeah, we're expecting for Doomsday to do well, but I want to piggyback on a comment that one of our friends in our community made a long time ago. Marvel should have never gotten into the hands of Disney. Disney is not Marvel. Disney is not Star Wars. Disney is supposed to be coming up with their own stories, get back to storytelling, giving us, beautiful films that we can relate to and fall in love with. If Marvel were in the hands of a different company, I think it would be doing a lot better. I really think it's failing because Disney acquired it, and that's my opinion. I will leave it there. I don't know how good Doomsday is going to do, but that's just how I feel about Marvel. And I'm a Marvel girl. I love Spider-Man. I like all the Marvel characters. I'm also a DC comic girl. I love Batman. So shouldn't have gotten into the hands of Disney.
Now,
well,
there's fair for that one.
Please.
It did all the way up until 2019, the Infinity Saga. Marvel, I think, was probably definitely doing the best it's ever done, and that was because of Disney. So it's really only after the Disney Plus shows, the mandate that Marvel had to do Disney Plus shows and all that. Then poor Kevin Feige, he had to come up with all this content to put it, and then people started getting confused because they can't watch everything. I think that's really that mandate from Iger or Chapek or whoever did it, said he had to do that to stuff up the Disney Plus content. I think that one was really what started Marvel's kind of downtrend there.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, and look what Kathleen Kennedy did to Star Wars. I mean, this is
because I same with the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus. Like,
it's not fair.
The Disney Plus really kind of crushed those two. Well, actually, Star Wars had a little bigger problems, but Disney Plus helped with the problem.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. I will say, like, Marvel, it is, like, at least it was the most profitable franchise ever. And by box office returns, still to this day, it still is. Disney benefiting greatly from that, and greatly benefiting from Disney's cash infusion that they gave to, like, even the initial films that came out, like Winter Soldier, for example. That was infused with more cash after the success of Avengers. And it was like, okay, we really believe in this product. Let's go ahead and invest fully into it. And they did get tremendous returns from that.
Invest in the MCU, and it gives you $30 billion or whatever dollars, and then they say, okay, let's drop Avengers Campus, and here you go. Like,
see, I was just going to get to that. The integrations from Disney to the park side of things, though, haven't worked out very, very well at all. Yeah, Marvel, I just wish.
Performing franchise, that land that looks like that, that makes no sense.
I just wish that those things were treated with a little bit more care, but c'est la vie, we're getting what we're getting. If DMR is going to revitalize Disney's franchises, however, he must maintain a healthy relationship with Dana Walden, considered to be one of the industry's strongest creative executives. That's interesting. He has to maintain that relationship. Interesting what he has to do when he doesn't have to do. There's a sense that DiAmaro will approach the task with more delicacy, that being the relationships with creatives, giving Walden a level of autonomy in the process. Quote, Josh is not afraid to surround himself with people who know more about something than he does, says Spencer Neumann, a former Disney executive who now is Netflix's chief financial officer. Tom Staggs, co-CEO of Candle Media and former head of Disney's parks, says while DiAmaro hasn't greenlit movies or TV shows, he has an intimate understanding of what audiences want to see. There's not much difference between what a guest at the parks wants and what the audience wants, he says. It's all part of that same equation. Tom Staggs definitely right on here, and it's a case that I've been making about Josh D'Amaro. He, maybe he doesn't know the ins and outs of Hollywood creatives there and so forth, but he understands what audiences want, what they don't want, because, well, he was in charge of consumer products in the parks. He knows what rides get the highest wait times, and he also knows what sells on merchandise shelves. So it's like it's not that he doesn't have, any appreciation about this whatsoever or knowledge of this, but he's going to defer to Dana Walden. Disney's board, looking to avoid another blunder, like what would happen with Bob Chapek, at least in this article, opted to promote Walden so that she could serve as a cultural ambassador for D'Amaro. That has reassured many of the showrunners who forged deep bonds with Walden during her stint as the company's TV and streaming chief, where she established herself as a talent whisperer. Quote, when you're working on a project and it isn't gelling, panic sets in and you throw crap against the wall, says Dan Fogelman, creator of the Hulu series Paradise, says, quote, Dana steps back, takes a breath, and calls you into her office. She has this unique ability to zoom out and look at the big picture. And it can be as simple as, quote, this drama is not dramatic enough, or this comedy just simply isn't funny. Walden, who was a top TV executive at Fox, which maintained a Darwinian style of corporate governance, has adapted to the Disney way, which embraces a more collegial ethos. Most of the top Fox executives who tried to make the transition flamed out. Walden thrived. Quote, the two cultures could not be any more different, says Brian Lord, CEO of Creative Arts Agency. But Dana bothered to get to know the people at Disney and find out what their challenges were. She didn't bring any assumptions, she brought her curiosity. She also ensured a smooth transition for the hundreds of shows moving under the Disney umbrella. I'll say this about Walden and that smooth transition, okay? There were a lot of Disney TV guys that just lost their jobs. And Fox basically took over when it came to television under the Disney umbrella. So, smooth, I don't know if I would say necessarily smooth, but the move to be more Fox-like in their approach to television, that was spearheaded by Dana Walden herself. Succession fights often end with bruised egos, but Walden has told confidants she's excited about her new role, which includes overseeing film. But that means that Alan Bergman, who used to have a direct line to the CEO as movie chief, will report to Walden now. It's unclear if he embraces that new relationship. However, Bergman has not indicated that he plans to leave. I ask you, our amazing panelists, what does the CEO name mean? Alan Bergman, who was the head of the film side of the business, right, and was shepherding over like Pixar, Lucasfilm, Marvel, instead of reporting to Josh D'Amaro, he now reports to Walden. That's a lot of creative power that's been given to Walden. And Josh D'Amaro, I don't even know if he has a say in it. What say you? What is Josh D'Amaro's role? And what does that mean with this new relationship with Dana and Alan Bergman?
Well, before MJ goes, I just say, Vash, I must go. I told my lovely wife I'd be right with her at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So
no,
thank
Wizard, you can't go. No,
I've been sucked into the lair.
They're watching the Winter Olympics, so Wizard has to go take care of
they
that.
were doing the Olympic. Now we have to watch the season finale and reunion of NBC's Traders. Go watch it on Peacock, guys. Such a good show. But yes, we're gonna go watch that, and then also
I love you, Wizard, but you couldn't pay me enough to watch Traders.
It's so good. Oh my goodness. But yes, and then sign our lease for our new apartment. Okay, so that we asking you
Well, that's exciting news.
On .com we have forums. You can post your cool little things from all over the world there. Go subscribe to me on YouTube. I just put out a video about the next 5 years at Universal Studios Hollywood. Came out earlier today, so if you want to see what's coming up between now and 2030, you can go check that out. And hey, tomorrow morning there's a Pokemon Presents presentation at 6 a.m. and maybe we'll get some theme park Universal news there too. So stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button, and you can book your trips with me too.
Absolutely. We have Theme Park Wizard's amazing channel in the chat right there, provided by Four Leaf Shogi. Thank you so much for that. We also have his website, as you can see right here. It's a beautiful website. Go over there, check his all of his links and social media out. He is definitely worth a follow, subscribe, whatever you do. Please go ahead and support our panelists. Thank you so much, Wizard. Very much appreciate you coming on. Say hi to Liz for me. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night, Wizard. Night. Bye.
Absolutely. Now, the point that I am making with this whole thing is, look, as Disney is an entertainment and creative company, right? The future of the company can't just be rested in theme parks because, well, theme parks are kind of powered by what the entertainment company or entertainment side of the business actually produces. This is actually what happened in the 1970s with Disney, where the entertainment side of the business really fell flat, but the park side of the business was actually okay up until, well, probably Epcot, right? They invested a huge amount, I think $1.2 billion at the time. And unfortunately, they didn't get the returns that they were quite expecting. That left them financially vulnerable. And that's where you get the green mailers that came in and tried to buy the company, break it up, all of that. It wasn't until angel investors came in, bought some of those shares, stopped those green mailing efforts, and brought in Michael Eisner, who then instilled new values and a new corporate culture, turned things around at the studio division. And that's where we get amazing success from the 90s and so forth. Here, the future of the company rides in its ability to create, especially in this AI-generated era and so forth. It's really going to be prudent on them, most prudent, to be able to create amazing stories to compete with their contemporaries, especially like with Paramount, for example, right? They just acquired Warner Brothers.
Right.
That is a huge content library.
Huge.
And they're going to have to compete with all of that and much, much more, especially at the box office and everywhere else. But here's the problem. Josh D'Amaro, well, he doesn't really make those creative decisions. He's giving that all over to Dana Walden. The future of the company, and really his future as a CEO, now rests in her hands. So you can see why Walden might be excited about the new role, the prospect of getting the creative reins, because really, honestly, she's in control, not
Right.
Josh D'Amaro. Dana Walden is. Because if the company flies and soars, people are going to give Dana Walden the credit, especially from the entertainment side. If it flounders, the board's going to be looking at Josh D'Amaro. It's a win-win for her. What say you, MJ? Do I have this correct?
I believe you do, and it's actually kind of funny because if you pay attention to Josh and his mannerisms and how he speaks with his eyes, he speaks with his hands, he interacts with everyone, he gets along with everybody. He's the kind of guy that he wants to be approachable, he wants to be liked. So maybe they put him in this position on purpose because maybe he's easy to manipulate, if you will, almost like a puppet. Like, hey, this is the front person, but we're really in the back here. We're in charge. We're calling the shots. But if things go wrong, it's on him. So yeah. I think that's what it could be, because he's very good at what just look at him on the stage. He's likable. You're drawn to him. He has that personality of like a showman almost, someone probably, I don't know his background like you do, Vash, but it seems to me like the man took a lot of acting classes.
Well, he was definitely invested in the arts, which is very, very interesting. He first went to a college that really specialized in arts, right? And he was in the middle of welding together a 12-foot statue at 2 a.m. before getting the idea that, as much as I love doing this might not actually feed a family. So he left and went to Georgetown University and got a major in business right there. But and you can see this actually in this in this article right here. The article actually says that he likes making his own PowerPoint presentations, which his contemporaries said was kind of weird. You can see it right here, actually. Let me go ahead and put this up. He's known for getting into the weeds. At Disneyland, he has a reputation for being obsessed with everything from color of the trash cans to the taste of popcorn. He recently spent nearly 3 hours in a meeting with 30 operators and Imagineers to brainstorm potential redesigns of the Millennium Falcon ride. Quote, he even designs his own PowerPoint presentations, which is kind of weird, Buckingham says. That's the creative side of Josh. He really, honestly, I think, wants to be a creative more than an executive.
It's going to take a lot more than the color of a garbage can and popcorn that tastes well to get this company back to where it needs to be. His focus needs to be way away from that. Leave the popcorn buckets and the trash cans to someone else, please, Josh.
Right, and I think he probably should do that. But that's the thing. He is not going to be able to flex his creative muscles and really have control of content creation in the way that I think everybody were originally envisioned for a CEO, because he's deferred all that to Dana Walden. That's the problem, MJ. I think you're exactly right. He's the front man. It's really Dana Walden that's doing all these, making all these decisions right here. And even Alan Bergman answers to her, not him.
And that's scary because
that's a huge deal.
It's scary because she's pro woke, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, look at her the surroundings, people that she associates herself with, and that's what we're just starting to get away from woke with what's being put on the screen for our children. So if creativity, if she's sitting in the seat of Lasseter, I mean, it's really scary stuff.
And I don't even think Lasseter had this position, which he's oversaw content for the entire company. I think it was just limited to like the film and animation studios, whereas she has her hands, on top of creatives within television, within FX, Disney Plus, what goes on there, what doesn't go on there. I mean, it's all going to come down to really to Dana Walden, I do believe. And like you said, her political ties make her a little bit unpalatable, at least with the corners of this country right here. So it's kind of like she's got liability written all over her, but she was able, in Variety's own piece a couple weeks back, apparently she was able to carve out these creative roles from this CEO position as a consolation prize for her not getting the CEO spot. I think spells real doom for Josh Giamaro. It seems like he's just gonna just say, hey, you know what you do, and you're all good. He should be putting the perimeter up around her. He should be saying, hey, look, listen, you might be. There is evidence to suggest that Dana Walden might, want the CEO position for herself, and so it's kind of it's me or you thing kind of thing. And it's like, who's going to win that battle out right there? I think it's a battle for time. But it's Dana Walden was part of the attempt to oust Chapek, which was successful. I know Kristen McCarthy, she definitely had her hand in that. Kristen McCarthy being the chief operating officer at that time, right? Had a lot of influence on that, but Dana Walden was definitely in the mix there for sure, consulting with both Christine McCarthy and the board, actually, to try to see how to get rid of Bob Chapek. And even went on walks with Bob Iger during that whole process. Bob Iger would eventually usurp and replace Bob Chapek. In fact, they went on walks and scheduled a walk specifically to make Bob Iger available for that call from the prior chairman of the board, Susan Arnold, that would eventually ask him to be the next CEO of the Walt Disney Company. So, like, Dana Walden's all over that, and she's big friends with Iger, and so it's like, from a creative standpoint, how much is the creative output going to change from this company with somebody who is literally neighbors? They're in the same neighborhood, MJ, that of Bob Iger. Right. Yeah. And I just don't know if much is going to change because of all of that. And it really is a shame that Josh Giamaro is taking this tack of, hey, let's just go ahead and defer to her, give her all she wants. You go ahead and handle creative. I'll handle everything else. I kind of think for a creative company, what is everything else? Like, outside of the theme park division, it's like, and even the theme park division, by the way, whatever concepts that you bring to the park are going to be, it's going to be very important what comes out of the entertainment space, because, why develop theme park attractions around shows that don't do well, or maybe you do develop attractions for shows or movies that do well. I mean, it's really going to be tied to the creative output of the company, and that's directly with Dana Walden right there. So what I'm trying to bring out for you guys is look, Josh Giamaro might as well be CEO in name only. It's Dana Walden running this show.
Yeah.
It's Dana Walden providing the creative vision for this creative company that is the Walt Disney Company. And I just don't know how much.
Maybe she'll just end up in one of the showers, in the shower that former CEO had, and pull the lever, and she'll just go down it too.
Well, I think you know what it might be, MJ. It might be more like Psycho, where Josh Giamaro's taking a shower in the executive office right there, and Dana Walden comes in there, and well, if you've seen the Alfred Hitchcock movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about right there. Not good, not good. No, I'm not saying Walden's gonna do that. Come on, no. Figuratively speaking, guys, I just think Walden has still has aspirations to be the CEO, and even if she doesn't, really his performance really hinges on her success or lack thereof. I mean, it's going to be really, really interesting to see this dynamic play out right here. Variety was very, very clear that that Dana was being held the reins. So, being given the reins in this situation.
Given the reins, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
and Lassiter, when he was there, man, he was just look at his work that he did. It's like bar none. You know, Walden can never top that, ever, never. Mm-mm. And it's gonna. Yeah. She's got big shoes to fill, and he's probably got big feet. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, we'll see. This is the other thing too. I mean, there have been articles as well brought out that that the entertainment side of the business, specifically the film side of the business, is a little bit nervous about her being put in this role as chief creative officer, because it's like she's never really done movies. She's done TV shows,
right,
and some of those to a great extent, but never movies. And that's the thing. Even with TV shows, MJ, I mean, how many programs have you personally watched from FX, Hulu? You know, I mean, everybody talks about Squid Games. They talk about like Game of Thrones, right? They talk about the K-pop Demon Hunters. They talk about all these things coming out of these other streaming platforms. Mm-hmm. I don't really hear Hulu or Disney Plus in that conversation, and the ratings bear this out. But you're going to put her in charge of everything. Just seems cattywampus to in my eyes. But what's that?
No, completely. I agree with you 100%. Nothing creative is coming out of the Hulu or Disney Plus realm. It's actually astronomical. K-pop Demon Hunters blew Disney Plus out of the water. Come on, that movie came out of Netflix, and they should be really taking notes. So we will buckle up and go on this wild ride. It's an amazing, scary stuff. Real scary.
Yeah, we'll go on this wild ride together. Now, the other wild ride is actually featured in Disney's parks, that being Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. And if you remember that one, MJ, we all end up going to hell.
No,
so
we do.
Hopefully we don't end up in the same spot.
That's exactly right. I think we're already there.
We might be. Oh boy, here we go. This is just great right here. But
they pulled the wrong lever on her. They pulled the wrong lever.
Yeah, exactly. Big news today in entertainment. Obviously, Warner Brothers being acquired by Paramount officially now. Netflix is pulling out of that whole race and getting paid $2.8 billion for running in the race, which is very, very interesting. So Dana Walden and Josh Giamaro will have to compete with the likes of them and many others in this space, including Amazon, Netflix, Continued, and Comcast, and so forth. So we'll have to see what happens here. I just wanted to go ahead and point out that the honeymoon, I don't know. Well, we'll see if it's over or not. Dana Walden taking that horse and running with it. We'll see what actually comes out of that. But I want to go ahead and thank each and every one of you for watching another great episode of Vash Sky ParkCast. I know it's a busy night. Everybody was streaming. I mean, you had what is it? Valiant Renegade. He was streaming. Yeah. Lorena, I think she was streaming. Yeah, the M4 Empire over there. Marvin, an amazing host over there, he was streaming as well. I want to thank every single one of you for joining us and choosing us as your preferred platform tonight. Very, very cool. I want to go ahead and thank Orange Grove 55 and Theme Park Wizard for joining us for this amazing discussion. We're going to have more West Coast commentators and panelists very, very shortly in in the whole course of this amazing thing, and the amazing MJ for producing what is a fantastic show.
It's an honor.
MJ, where can the people find you out there?
It's an honor to be here, Vash. Thank you so much for the invite, and being a part of your show is really an honor. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you so much. I am on Instagram and X, as you guys all know already. Thank you so much for your support, your love, your presence, and being here, everybody. It's late on the East Coast. You guys know it's past my bedtime, but you know how much Vash, he's like a brother by now.
Yeah.
So there's nothing I won't do for him. So I'm here, and I'm pretty much on a lot of live streams nowadays on that Park Place, on Follow the Bradleys Fun. We got Erica with Erica and Raph, great people out there, and just amazing here, being here on the Vash Sky ParkCast, being with you guys in the audience. You guys are phenomenal. God bless every single one of you. Keep your heads up, keep your chins up, never lose hope. Keep on breathing and living every day that the good Lord wakes you up and puts breath in your lungs, and go out there and make it a great one every single day.
Absolutely. No day is guaranteed, as you have said before on this show right here. And definitely subscribe to MagicalyMJ. That's with one L over there at X. And Fort Leaf Shogi actually has your Instagram in there in the chat as well. So definitely check that
so
out.
Much.
Anthony, I think he's in the chat right there saying, "Great show, VashSky, keep it going." Well, okay, I'll give you a little bonus because this story is probably going to be irrelevant next week, to be honest with you. That's how crazy the news cycle is. I'll go ahead and give you a bonus one real fast here. Disney shares new technical details for Smuggler's Run 2026 Mandalorian mission. That's not quite the one. It was which one right there? Yes. Updated name and description before Mandalorian mission debut. This machine on Ace, February 24, 2026. Yes. So the crux of the story right here, folks, is that Disney decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and update the website and provide the name for the new, the new mission, I guess, coming to Smuggler's Run. They're looking at this almost like a new attraction, right? And to showcase that, to shepherd that, I should say, they have debuted a new name. Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, a new mission. Literally, that's the name. Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, a new mission. I think it's absurd. It's ridiculous. I understood Star Tours The Adventures Continue, right? Because it was like, okay, we're providing a brand new set of experiences from the original attraction that you've enjoyed since 1987. Let's go ahead and showcase that with a new name, Adventures. I think that's appropriate. Here, literally, they tell you a new mission. And in the description, it's so interesting, MJ. They even tell you, like, okay, every single, seat, whether it be pilot, engineer, or gunner, every single role is crucial, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that HBR article that we had been discussing on previous segments of this show. Right here, it's like they put that into the description. It's absolutely amazing.
Hopefully they cater to the people that are waiting in the queue line and say, okay, how many are in your party? Do you guys want to sit together? Let's cater to those crucial roles, right? And
yes.
be the Disney difference. Josh, put that on your work order list.
Exactly. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious how this description is setting up the fact that, no, it's different this time, folks. Honest, it really is. Now you can choose from a variety of planets. That's including Coruscant, Bespin, Cloud City right there, even the Death Star wreckage around the planet, the moon of Endor. You can go ahead and see all of those and much, much more. You can take care of Grogu. All of these things in the description. I think it's a little wordy, but okay. Well, turns out, folks, not so much. Disney backtracks an updated name for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Yes, apparently somebody hit that post button a little bit too early and broke the news before Disney was ready to perpetualize the name change right there. But suffice it to say, I think it is going to be Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, a new mission, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, they did pull it, which I think is very, very funny. Again, all of this happening under Josh D'Amaro's division, which just hasn't been as polished, I would say, that we know Disney to be, especially pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, not so much. But wanted to go ahead and showcase that for you. I thought that was a pretty interesting, fun story right there. I believe that's going to be the crux, or at least as it was put up before this crazy news cycle that we've recently experienced. That's going to be the crux of that Park Place live stream. That's going to be tomorrow at, I think, noon Eastern with Jonas and Marvin. Very, very interesting. But on this show right here, Vash Sky ParkCast, you would expect us every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Following that, Park Place is going to be redirected over to this show. Awesome stuff. And every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern right there in order to get our West Coast friends in on the fun. Should be a blast. Thank you so much for showing up and keeping with us right here. We've got 150 strong almost right there between X and YouTube. Thank you so much. If you haven't yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. It really does help us out. When we get monetized, I'm sure we'll have the hype button as well. You can go ahead and do that. We're working towards monetization. But for right now, we just appreciate your support. And a little like, a little subscribe. That goes a long, long way. Okay. I think, MJ, we are ready to depart from this amazing show right here. And from our...
Did Disney put the title so we know which button to press?
Oh, that's true.
Millennium Falcon to get out of here?
Fortunately, I put the titles in, so I think we're okay. I think we know the button to actually hit right there. And speaking of buttons, there you go. Little music right there. Take us on out. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will see you next week, 2 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, after that Park Place. Take care, everybody. See you all next week.